shocking, positively shocking. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, we are the longest running podcast hosted by two Yorkshiremen, a Geordie, a red-headed girl, and a Frenchman. This is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles, and as always, I'm the host that just goes on and on and on and on and on. Today, I will be joined by Super the Bigio. It's Biggie.
Hello.
It's Dr. Robotics Mean Bean Candy Machine.
Hey, hello.
The truth is out there. It's Stig.
Hello.
And he's back from the dead. From north of the wall, it's Gadget.
Hello. Yes, I'm still alive.
So, before we get into the show, please consider becoming one of our sexy and incredibly cool patrons to help us divide and conquer the podcasting world. Details are in our show notes, but mainly check out our website, modernescapism.co.uk, for more exquisite content and links to everything we do. And now, it's time for our oldest segment of the show. It's Biggie's Breaking News as of last week.
News! Here we go. So, number one, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the most watched Disney Plus original series premiere globally to date. And it's been a pretty good success considering it's only been, 2 episodes so far?
Three now.
Ooh, it's the third one out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I caught up with them this week because I got sick of seeing all the spoilers on Twitter. I was like, I need to actually get this watched.
Yeah.
Nice. Good old spoilers, eh?
Yeah. I mean,
Friend of the show as well.
It's kind of, it makes sense, doesn't it? Out of all the characters, if you're going to do a spin-off show, all these like Marvel and Star Wars shows, he's probably, one that people have a lot of fondness for. And then Ewan McGregor did do a good job in the prequels, outside of other things that are wrong with those films. He was actually one of the standouts in that. So it does kind of make sense that a lot of people are tuned in for this.
Do you know what? I'm glad that they've waited the amount of time to do it as well, because it has brought some of those original, well, I say original fans, I don't mean like the 70s, I mean the prequel fans, like people our age. It sort of brought the people that have maybe drifted away from it back in a little bit too.
Hang on, there's prequel fans.
There's literally
there's people who grew up with the prequels, put it that way.
No, there's that thing now, isn't there? Because there's been such a long time between the prequels and now that people are kind of revisionists and like, actually, they weren't that bad, were they? No, they were bad.
Attack of the Clones.
You were my brother.
Attack of the Clones might be one of the worst things made.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's one of the worst. It's the worst one out of the 9.
Yeah,
the main ones. Revenge of the Sith is pretty decent.
It has its moments.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the show, to be honest. It fucks up the lore completely, but I'm not really that bothered.
Yeah, when something's that old, you've got to sometimes look past like continuity errors and stuff like that, and you've just got to think, fuck it, come on, we're having a laugh.
I think they've gone, this would be really cool, but it makes no sense in terms of that one line that was in the New Hope, and they've gone, fuck it.
Don't matter.
No, because we get this cool moment instead.
Yeah, exactly.
It also features one of the worst adult versus child chases ever.
Yeah, the one in the forest.
There's actually two.
He can't jump over a branch. Oh, branch.
There's two. There's another adult versus child chase scene as well, which is pretty terrible in episode 2.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
It's funny, but yeah. Decent. You have to just go with it, don't you?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
We don't know how physics work in that world.
We don't know how physics works.
That guy may not be able to bend his knees. That species.
Exactly. Might not be human. It might look human to you, but come on.
I'm looking forward to when they announce the next character that they're going to do a backstory of, and that's the robot torturer that you see.
Oh yeah, imagine.
Love to know what happens with him.
We're getting Jar Jar, aren't we, next?
Oh, don't.
Fuck this. I can see it.
Could you imagine that?
He's got a Sith robe. He's got a Sith robe on. His eyes are red. And he's got a triple lightsaber.
You got the big John Williams evil music in the background. He goes, "You're gonna die."
Yeah, exactly.
His tongue turns into a lightsaber.
It's just called the whole show. The whole show's called Binks.
When he turns his lightsaber off the first time, accidentally kills himself. Done.
Now he gets it in his tongue and goes.
It rolls it back and just puts it through his own skull.
There's a Force Ghost for the rest of the season then.
Oh, dear.
Next.
So moving on, Top Gun Maverick not only got the best review so far in 2022, but has earned about $156 million, setting a new record
we
for
help
Memorial
that?
Day weekend.
I think we pushed that film, didn't we?
Yeah,
A little bit.
It's increased since as well because of
Yeah,
since
That's
Memorial
opening
Day.
of Cruise's career. So I mean, it like Stiggy, I think, mentioned last week that it's probably the best idea he's ever come up with to still release it in the cinema to hold off, and proof is in the pudding.
Yeah,
Yep.
and not even just in terms of obviously the money it's made, just the fact the film is a film that you need to watch in the cinema. Like it just the sound and the scale of it is just needs to be on a big screen.
I'm going to go to the IMAX and watch that myself, I think.
Congratulations, Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, we knew you were strapped for cash.
So moving on, fake Bloodborne remaster sends fans into a frenzy. Somebody tweeted out that
See what you did
Bloodborne
there.
Remastered is coming to PS5 in August 22 and the PC in 2023.
If the eagle-eyed listeners, eagle-eared listeners, could hear the wood hitting the desk in Gadget's house, then he's got an erection.
Furious that this was fake. Absolutely furious.
Oh, is it
I know,
fake?
I mean, everyone's going to
Fake
want
news.
it, aren't they?
Fake news.
To do that.
How could they have got that out in August 22 and not had any of it leaked? It seemed like. Oh, by the way, this is coming in 2 months.
Yeah, or why wouldn't you have it in the state of play? You know, it's like, yeah, it's fake.
Exactly.
But it's one of those things that when you're flicking down Twitter and you see Bloodborne Remaster, I was like, ooh. No.
Oh, it'll come. It'll come. They just probably want to Elden Ring out the way, get as much as they can from that. Right, what can we do in the meantime? Put Bloodborne out because they know it'll sell.
Yeah.
I think most people want it on PC, don't they? Because that's
Most
when you
people
can
are
mess
PC.
about with it.
I think
I'd like to see it as well.
I think Blue Point proved that they can do this kind of thing with the Demon Souls remastered remake,
Which is still the best looking Souls game. By
It
far.
is. For different reasons, though. I mean, I still think Elden Ring looks incredible, but technically, it is the most beautiful one. I would like to see what they could do with Bloodborne, but like we don't like Bloodborne's art style, and it still looks fantastic. It just needs to fucking run at 60 frames a second.
Yeah,
Which
that's all it needs.
already
A
has
4K
happened.
version. That's all we need. We don't need anything spectacular because it's gorgeous anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Who's that guy, Lance McDonald, who managed to get it running at 60 frames per second? He's tweaked it, but
Yeah.
they won't do anything with it. He's
Wait.
told them, look, you can do this, but they obviously
can be done,
aren't
yeah.
for reasons unknown.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of the like stuff like they tie the physics to the frame rate in those games.
Yes,
I'm sure.
That's why you can't have like Elden Ring run it at 144 frames a second or whatever, because it just makes the fucking world go mental.
You'll have no iframes either at all, which is important in that combat.
Just do it, Sony. Come on.
It only costs you a few $1 million, man.
I think it'll happen.
It'll make
money.
It'll make more back than what it costs them to do. So
Why?
it'll happen. They remastered
Next.
everything else, so
Yeah.
So the game Abandoned once again hit the headlines as a report came out from Mark Delaney at GameSpot that Blue Box is allegedly making little progress as the lead developer shares uninspiring teases and flip-flops on the truth with a fan chat room that he organised. This was the game that people thought was the secret game from Kojima.
Yeah. And they went along with it.
Yeah.
What?
And
I'm
it was just-
confused.
Well, it's just because it was released with, was it a trailer or was it images that sort of implied that it was to do with Silent Hill? There were all these weird sort of hidden meanings in the background that people were saying, oh, that's Silent Hill.
It was one of those correlation doesn't equal causation kind of things where some people went, this looks a bit Silent Hilly, and the kind of the guy Karaman, whatever he's called, he basically just ran with it, and it became a very big hype moment. You know, he was tweeting out saying like Abandoned's working title begins with an S and ends with an L and shit like that, and everyone Silent Hill, and I went SNL.
No,
it could be anything.
We all know that, like, and Gadget's absolutely thrilled at this. Bloober Team are doing Silent Hill. He loves Bloober Team as well.
Just don't. It's two depressing stories in a row there.
He loves it.
But yeah, this Abandoned thing, it's a load of bullshit. By the sounds of it, the guy's sketchy as fuck anyway, and he's got a history of taking money from investors or like promising games and not delivering them. So, yeah.
Next.
Nothing.
Sounds very dodgy. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Ferrero. Sorry, Feige.
He still said his second name wrong.
He gets it wrong every time.
Do it on purpose. Might just launch an Avengers Con, a Star Wars celebration like fan event for Marvel. And I think somebody mentioned that. How has this not happened already?
Yeah, I assume this would have already been a thing. I mean, most Comic-Cons these days are mostly Avengers stuff anyway.
Good.
Do you feel like Comic-Con is kind of on its way out, like E3, isn't it? Everyone's doing their own thing now. And so if he does this and just does, this is when we release all of our Marvel news, there's nothing going to be for Comic-Con. It's like DC do their own one, don't they? They have like
the DC
weekend.
Dome or whatever it's called, the Fandome.
The Fandome, they have a whole weekend to show it all and stuff.
I don't think Comic-Con will go away because of it. I think what will happen is if the Avengers Con becomes its own thing, that like New York Comic-Con, London Comic-Con, they probably won't suffer anything. They might just shrink back and get back to being more general nerd culture things rather than here's a load of announcements from Disney, you know? So I don't think they're going anywhere.
I mean,
still very
comics
popular.
Obviously, it's such a big thing in the States compared to over here. Our comic shops are so sporadic in the UK. And then in America, there are fucking comic shops everywhere.
You should have seen Pontifract Comic Con. It was hilarious. There was a few lads outside with bin bags on. It's fucking brilliant.
I remember they did a Comic Con in Chesterley Street once. That was just sad. It were really sad. The grand attraction they got was that guy that has that replica Batmobile. Got him up for the weekend.
Oh, him?
Yeah,
he'll turn up for anything.
I went to one in London that had the replica Tumblr.
Oh no! This was like a replica.
But that's a bit different, isn't it? Tumblr's impressive.
Yeah, this is a replica Tim Burton one where the guy hadn't even covered up the Vauxhall logo on the wheels. You know.
Yeah, me and my brother went to one in London just for. Well, basically, we were going down for a Liverpool game, but the game was the next day, and the cheap trains were like early in the morning. So it's like, what the fuck are we going to do till like kill time? And just saw Kurt Angle was like, I'm going to be at London Comic Con today. I was like, okay, let's go there.
I'm off. Yeah, I'd go as well. I'd absolutely go for that.
Went to meet Kurt Angle and listen to him do a talk and everything. But yeah, it wasn't as like big or spectacular as you see on these American ones.
Yeah, it's more about the signings, isn't it? There, you go there and get your photo with Aquaman.
Yeah, Nick
so
Frost was there actually as well, but I didn't manage to.
I'd like to talk to Nick Frost as well.
You got
You
words.
didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Words
though.
for Nick Frost, don't you?
Yeah.
We had one in Worthing, and out the Doctor who's a Doctor Who fan here?
Nobody.
I've watched it.
There's one called Colin. I can't remember his surname. I think he took over after Tom Baker. Colin something or other.
Colin Baker.
Colin.
And he was there, and he basically looked like he had actually eaten all the other Doctors. He put on so much weight. He had all these pictures in front of when he was in Doctor Who, and he looked nothing like it. It was like, yeah. Bless
Colin.
You. Yeah,
they're good for them, aren't they? That for a lot of people, like for later on their careers.
Not when they're selling autographs for 20 quid. Fuck off.
No, for them, they earn great money from it.
Fuck off, Warwick Davis. I don't want a 20 quid autograph.
God, it's more than that now.
40 quid it was for Nick Frost, which is why I didn't do it.
Fuck that.
Yeah. It's like, I like you, but
I've never once. I've met quite a. Well, this is not an humble bragger. I've met quite a few famous people and stuff. People I admire. I've never gone, do you mind signing this? Because I don't see the point. I'm not a signature person. What am I going to do with it?
I'm more of a photo person. And then I
prefer
ask them
photo,
if they'll do a
absolutely.
funny
Selfie
pose.
every time.
I always ask, oh, do you mind if we look like we've just cracked a joke so we look like we're having a really good time?
Yeah,
it's all completely fake, but it looks like you're friends with them then.
That worked for
I've got a photo.
No.
I'll put it on the Discord as well of Dolph Lundgren kissing me on cheek because I asked him and he did. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want him to sign anything. He loved it.
Yeah,
Took me back to his hotel room and had his wicked way with me.
Thundergunned you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Unfortunately, another TV series has bitten the dust as Raised by Wolves has been cancelled at
What the fuck's
HBO
that?
Max. The sci-fi drama which Ridley Scott was involved with as executive producer.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Ridley Scott.
What's the concept of this? I've not seen it, but it did look intriguing.
I think that's the problem. Lots of people have heard good things about it, but no fucker watched it. Because it's a super high concept sci-fi thing. With Ridley Scott directed the first 2 episodes, and I think it's his son directed all the others.
Is it secretly an alien film?
I think so.
Is there xenomorphs in it?
No, there's not xenomorphs in it, but there's alien shit goes on in it, I think.
Oh, God, Ridley, stop.
Instead of Ridley Scott, Ridley Stop.
Ridley, stop. I want to remember him in his heyday when he was the best of the best, and now I just remember he's an old man that people just keep giving money to. He's like, fucking leave him alone.
Old man that shouts at clouds.
Oh, he really is an absolute curmudgeon these days.
Go get yourself some fish and chips. Try to direct a movie.
Oh, let Tony Scott do some stuff. Fuck it.
And speaking of oldies, Kate Bush running up that hill heads back into the top 40 at number 8.
Yeah, go on, Bush.
Not surprised. Once you've... do you watch Stranger Things, Gadget?
I've seen the first season of it, and I don't know why I haven't watched the rest of it. I do want to get into it.
Mate, it's a Dungeons and Dragons show. What the fuck are you doing?
I know, it's just one of those things. I've watched the first season twice, actually, and it's just like, I don't know why I never start the second season.
Yeah.
We remember, though, don't we, Stig? He doesn't like Goonies, does he?
Oh, yeah.
Could be something to do with that.
Maybe, but the way that
I like it.
The way that song was used in this series, specifically one episode, is
sublime.
Yeah, it's no surprise that people have been streaming it and stuff since. But yeah, nice little story that.
I've always loved Kate Bush anyway. It's nice to see young people discovering her organically through that. I love it. I love that shit.
I actually didn't realise how old that song was. I thought it was. I thought it came out mid-90s. I thought it came out mid-90s.
No,
I think it's older than me. I think it's older than me. Just ish.
Banger.
She wrote it for my birth, actually.
Yeah, moving on.
I don't know how that works, but
I was going to make a really cruel joke there, and I'm just not going to bother.
I know what you're going to say.
Or was it about your dad when he heard you being born?
Yeah,
running up that hill wave.
Never coming back. You were ugly, baby. I was. Next.
Okay, so moving over to Gadget and Oodles to give us a quick rundown of the state of play that we had from Sony this week.
Yeah, we're a good one.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. Twitter didn't.
Loads of people on Twitter and Reddit complained that it was shit. It was just like, actually, no, there were some really fucking good games.
Yeah.
Do you know when we were doing it live? I said there'll be someone moaning that they weren't a single shooter game, and that's all I saw on Twitter. Like, we're a Sony shooters. It's like, fucking, we've got enough. We're all free now.
Sony don't make shooters.
Exactly.
So the couple of the big ones. There's quite a lot of horror on this one because it opened up with the Resident Evil 4 remake, which looks fucking banging.
Mate, you could literally do like a wallpaper simulator in RE Engine and it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just fucking great, that engine.
But yeah, the ground up remake of Resident Evil 4 like they did Resident Evil 2. They've got the current actor and face model for Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 2 remake.
And I like him.
Yeah, they've changed I think they've changed the look of all the characters. Because Ashley looks different as well, and she sounds different, which means hopefully that Leon Leon is not going to be quite as annoying when she gets caught.
Leon, help! Leave her.
Really, really interested to see what they're going to do with it, because Resident Evil 4 is an excellent game, but it's fucking batshit crazy in places. Like, you have a little...
For me, it was the turning point. Yeah, it's the turning point of the whole franchise. It's where they lean into schlock and daftness. Like, the first major thing that Leon says, "Where's everybody gone? Bingo?"
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, here we go. This is setting the scene, and it's just fun. And you see Dr. Salvador, or whatever he's called, with the sack on his head and the chainsaw. It's just it's wearing its heart on its sleeve, isn't it? The fourth one.
So
it's fucking batshit.
So from the trailer they showed, everything looks very moody, very dark, and looks like they're probably more leaning towards the scary stuff, because you can say a lot of things about Resident Evil 4. It ain't scary.
No, is it folk? It's just daft.
I really hope also they tone down the fucking QTEs, because it's the one thing I don't like about this.
There shouldn't be any.
Yeah, remember that.
Like, oh, look at that, there's a boulder chasing you, rapidly tap Q as fast as you can.
I first played it on GameCube, and it was like A and ZR to run away from a fucking boulder. I'm like, I still don't know the controls. Ah!
The Wii was just a waggle.
Yeah.
Was it a waggle?
Yeah. Right, that's why people say the Wii is one of the best ones to play it on, because you just have to waggle, and it does it, and you don't have to fuck around with buttons.
But there's things where, you beat a boss on 4, and if you don't get the QTE right, you have to do the boss again. It's fucking bollocks.
Did you see there's a little link to Resi 8 as well in it? In the clip they showed that it's the wreath thing that they have in Resi 8 with the crow's wings. So that'd be interesting to see how they link it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So a tall lady with big boobies as well.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Speaking of which, Resident Evil 8 Village is getting the VR treatment. At which point the entire internet got horny all over again. The amount of Lady D memes I saw immediately after that is unreal. The internet needs to have a cold shower.
I saw some people saying, "Oh, I'm actually gonna play Resi 8 now because it's in VR and stuff. I'm just gonna spend all game with Lady D." I wanted to turn around and go, "She's in it for 10 minutes.
She's trying to kill you most of the time."
She's not in it for long, guys.
But,
Imagine the amount of people that will be using the VR for 3 minutes when she's there.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer a second form anyway.
Yeah. I know you like them authentically, don't you?
There's more to grab, isn't there? There's more to grab.
But yeah, Resident Evil 8 was great, and Resident Evil 7 in VR was fantastic. So this is going to be great, and I think it's by the time it's probably going to be an early one for PSVR too. So excellent.
Yeah, because 7 wasn't it? 7 was an early one for PSVR, so it makes sense that they've got this little thing going on. Yeah. And again, it's going to be a beginning of the Capcom frenzy, isn't it? Which we all love.
Yeah. They also announced Horizon VR, Call of the Mountain, which looked pretty, but also dull as dishwater.
Just like the last game.
Did you see the comparison shots, though, that what they released a couple of days ago versus the clip that they showed, what was it, about 3 months ago?
Yeah.
It's vastly improved now. The amount of detail that's in there now, they've really crammed it in. It's much better. They brightened it up and everything.
I don't know about you guys. I know you played it, didn't you, Candy, like me, but the character models on this VR one, they fucking cell shaded the shit out of them.
Yeah,
they look cartoony as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't It's a funny one, isn't it? Because in some places the graphics are so nice, and then in other places they're just gross.
Yeah,
it's the ugly faces again, isn't
it? Continue with this is Capcom. Continue with Capcom. Street Fighter 6 first gameplay was out.
Yeah, with the open world bit, running about.
Internet got mad.
Ladders.
Internet got mad because Chun-Li's wearing pants.
I can't wait for Evo when people are running around the city. It's gonna be fun.
I'm assuming that's
like a brick. He's just square now.
Ryu's lost his leanness, hasn't he? He used to be quite lean, and he just looks like he eats sausage rolls all the time now.
He's gone in for that middle-aged spread, hasn't he? Except it's just been his chest. I think his rib cage has expanded.
Yeah, he looks very square. He looks more like Akuma now, doesn't he? With his little beard and...
I mean, to be fair, he looks more like Chris Redfield.
Yeah, thick Chris. It's Street Fighter. We know, I mean, the warning to the listener listening now, don't buy it straight away. Wait while the end of the year when everything's the same price as when you initially bought it, and you've got all the characters. Trust me. Get the Game of the Year edition.
There is a new game which is made entirely for Oodles, which is called Eternites, which I'm on IGN at the minute, and they describe it as a dating action game set in the apocalypse. It's weeby as fuck. Schoolgirl dating persona.
The boy's got a weird. The boy's got a weird. He's got a weird like glowing arm that turns into a tentacle, and she holds onto his tentacle.
Oh no!
What's he gonna do with that?
It looks wrong, Oodles, in every way, shape, or form.
I'll just slap you with my tentacle.
Yeah, they had a run of some smaller ones, so like Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales is going on to PC this year, and No Man's Sky is going on to PSVR 2.
It's on PSVR already, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the original PSVR, but it's basically confirming it's like an up-res version for the because they updated it for
it's
the
rough,
PS5.
isn't it, on VR?
Yeah, they updated it for PS5, and then obviously saying it's going on PSVR 2.
Yeah, and the PSVR 2's got better controls as well, isn't it? So
we got the first gameplay trailer and a release date for Callisto Project Protocol, which I'm so excited for. That's coming out December the 2nd.
That's scary.
Yeah, so that's the one from the folks who made Dead Space, and then in January we've got the Dead Space remake. So it's going to be a good month for like horrible sci-fi horror shit.
That'll be delayed. Come on. Sorry to be that guy, but it'll be delayed.
You're always right, though.
Yeah. We got Rollerdrome, which is a futuristic skater shooter game, which looks fucking wild.
We can play that together for like half an hour one evening on stream, and then we'll be done with it.
Then we'll be done. Yeah, a little bit like Knockout City.
Yeah.
It'll be great fun for half an hour, but it looks fun.
I'll play Knockout City with you guys ever again. You threw bombs at me.
That was really good fun, though.
That was a great stream.
You tricked me.
Especially a little Star Wars moment.
I have the high ground.
The last two, Stray gets a release date, so that's the one where you play as the cat in Cyberpunk City. That's out in July, and it comes out free on the extra and premium tiers of PS Plus.
Which is 30 quid cheaper than buying the game.
Yeah.
Do that.
Looks fucking excellent. He's a very good boy, this cat. He's got his little backpack and his little robot, allows him to talk to robots.
He does a wink, doesn't he?
He does a wink.
Heart, he does.
He makes all the little meow sounds.
Yeah. He's wandering around and he just turned and going.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. Like, did you? I don't know, because when we were watching it, Gadget, it was a bit choppy. But I rewatched that trailer and watch his paws on the wet bit. He gets damp paws.
Oh.
He gets all these damp paws. Little beans.
I reckon if you put the control down, don't do anything, he probably sits there and just cleans himself.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to play it with my cat in the room, though. He'll go crazy.
He'll bap the telly.
He will be big bappins. Oh, I'm so excited for that one.
I hope characters boop him a bit. Like, boop.
I don't think there are any characters, are there? I think it's just him and a robot.
What if the little robots boop him?
Oh, there's other robots, is there?
Yeah, but I mean, there should be actually some more of the gameplay and some more of the city that you'll be wandering around, and it looks incredible. There's some alien shit going on there, and some shit that
this
shoots
is the cyberpunk we've all wanted.
Yeah, there's some shit that shoots at you, so there's going to be some action to it.
I think one robot absolutely annihilates the cat.
Stop it, Iggy.
And last up, before we all decide we're going to hate Biggie, Final Fantasy 16, Oodles.
This looks mint.
It does look.
This looks good. Have you seen the credits for the actual fighting mechanics? It's a full like fighting team that have done it.
Yeah, it's like the guys behind like Devil May Cry 5 and lots of the other Final Fantasies and shit.
Interesting.
And the devs have literally come out and said like, we understand that this is like turn-based is not our thing anymore, because they're not done turn-based in years, have they?
No.
And there's like, what was that? I can't remember the quote that he said. Like, we've reinvigorated action combat. And I was like, if someone's going to pump money into something like that, it's going to be Square, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
This could be like the change for people to be like, I've not liked Final Fantasy games, but this one, and it's very adult and. There's Pokemon themes to it where you can control your icons that they call the summons in this, and they fight each other. And oh god, Game of Thrones. Oh, it's going to be fucking lit, and all this sexy boys and the sexy girls. I don't care. It's not 13. We're never going to get 13 ever again.
Yeah. So, but it's coming out summer next year. unless it gets
I
delayed.
can't
But
wait.
yeah, summer next year.
I'm going to book a week off work and finish it in a week.
You'll finish it.
See,
in
I was a
3
little bit
days.
less excited about it after seeing this. I was really pumped for it, and then I saw the trailer the other night. I was a little bit deflated by it. Because I think, like you said, it reminds me of Stranger of Paradise, and I haven't gone back to that since the demo, and that's what put me off. So maybe I just need to go back and play Stranger of Paradise and get back.
I tell you, you will love it. You just got to get past that demo bit.
Yeah,
It's a secret mint game.
Secret mint game.
Secret mint game.
Properly. But yeah, that's it. So it was really good state of play. One of the better ones Sony's done, actually. Normally they kind of shit the bed with it a bit. But there was some lots of good announcements. And
Most of it was all new stuff as well. So what do people want? It wasn't just a repeat of
They want Call of Duty. They want 25 minutes on Call of Duty.
they want God of War.
Yeah.
Isn't
They want
there
it.
isn't there an Xbox one coming up?
Xbox
Yes, on Sunday.
Which
Okay.
I'm already predicting Skyrim Hyper Anniversary Edition or
on your fridge.
EX Turbo.
I've already pre-ordered it.
It's going to be available on all Apple watches.
And if you want to see our thoughts on it, me and Candy definitely will be streaming that one 6:00 Sunday the 11th.
I'm going to turn up as well just to see if
just to complain about.
Don't
No,
you
no, no,
ruin
no.
it for me. Don't you ruin it for me.
No, because I've got.
They'll
I've
do
got-
that for you anyway. Don't worry about that.
I've literally, and this is rare for me, I've got a spare 250 quid now that's just sat there, and I'm thinking, do I get Xbox again? And this could make or break it.
You should do anywhere.
So just get one anyway.
Those deals you can get on Game Pass.
Mm.
It's an emulator now as well.
Oh, Pirate Steve over there.
Yes, that was the state of play.
And it was a good state. Is that the news, Biggie?
Yeah, that's it. So, as always, over to Candy for thought of the day.
Yes, I think I liked that news section. Very good. Well done.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
Sorry.
Come on, wake up, Oodles. It's your show.
It's my show, finally. Finally. He admits it. Right, it's time for the Nexus. And I want to start myself, actually, because we're going to talk about The Boys later, aren't we?
Yes.
Because the big thing that's happened. But I want to talk about a little game that I got sent a code for. It's called Soldiers, spelled Souldiers. Soldiers, as in Dark Soldiers.
Oh, so do you have soul, but you're not a soldier?
That's right. It's basically the killers. No, it's not. So I've just, because when I ever get a code, I like to take it seriously. So I've just got the write up. So Soldiers is an indie Metroidvania and action adventure game with RPG elements developed by Retroforge and published by Dear Villagers. It was planned to release on 19th of May 2022, but it was pushed back to the 2nd of June, so it's fresh. You can get it now. It was pushed back to polish the game, and wow, the difference that little push, it has helped, because I remember seeing it originally. It's available on PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Series S, and on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. So, best way to explain it. Hollow Knight is the best way to explain it. Imagine... Now, I don't want to get your hopes. It's not as good as Hollow Knight. I don't think anything is, but that's what it's going for. That's what the gameplay is. But it's got a nice, unique twist on the Metroidvania genre, where it's very story heavy in a good way. So it is a clever thing by making it feel like this epic adventure, and you're just along for the ride on it. So at the beginning of the game, you're sent on a mission with a full platoon of soldiers. And on this mission for the king, some fantasy shite. Unfortunately, you all get stuck in a cave, and you're enticed by a Valkyrie. Ooh, god, them bloody Valkyries, at it again. To enter a portal to another realm to bring forth Ragnarok. Which I was led to believe that Ragnarok's the end of days, but in this game, they want to bring it forth. So, and at this moment, because you think you're going to play as the main character, the general, the guy that looks like he's all the art team have put all the work in. Turns out you're not. This is where you choose which member of the army you want to be. You can be a caster, an archer, or a scout. Scout's the knight with a shield and a sword. And basically, you're following your troop, your battalion, into unknown lands in a Metroidvania style. And a lot of Metroidvanias, they have this thing where you feel lonely, don't you? Like, especially Hollow Knight. You feel very lonely all the way through it. But in this, there's always someone to talk to. There's always NPCs that are giving you tips and advice. And the map in this is really good because a lot of people don't like Metroidvania maps because it can be confusing. This is very easy to read. If you look at the trailer, it's nice and blocky and 2D and beautiful. Reminds me of like a cross between Hollow Knight and Earthworm Jim in a weird way. Don't let that put you off, but you know what? Earthworm Jim's chunky.
Yeah.
Chunky 16-bit. It's like that. And it's just fucking gorgeous. So it is curing that little Hollow Knight Silk Song itch that I've got. Nice thing on this as well, which is rare in the genre, 3 difficulty options, and it doesn't change how you play it. It just makes things that little bit easier for people that struggle with this genre. I think it's fucking brilliant. There is one caveat to it. So the game opens up and it starts it's pretty. You're in open fields and trees and it's gorgeous. And then the first major like level/area is back in a cave again. And it's quite lengthy. It's about an hour long and you think, oh God, I'm stuck in this cave. But once you get back out of it, after killing a few bosses, then it's stunning again. And I don't know why they chose to front load it with that because it doesn't show off the game in its best light. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you check out a little trailer or some screenshots and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm watching the trailer on Steam now. It looks very pretty.
It is very pretty.
It doesn't give me any Hollow Knight vibes. Like your entire description is where it's like Hollow Knight, except in.
It is.
You've except in it about 5 times. It's great. It's really funny. It looks great though. Like it looks. It's on PC and Switch. So yeah, it looks canny. It's £15 on Steam.
I'm comparing to Hollow Knight in the way like it plays. It feels like Hollow Knight while you're playing it. Like it is. I hate to say it because they say it in the thing, but it's Souls-like in a way. When you die, you don't go and collect your souls. You don't need to do that, but it's deliberate combat. You know what I mean? You swing, you've got to see it through. Kind of like Hollow Knight.
It's giving me a lot of Dead Cells vibes, actually.
Yeah. It's not as fast. It's not as fast and fluid as Dead Cells.
No, but lots of particle effects.
Yeah. There's a little bit of work to do. Like I've noticed, like sometimes I can't because the sprites are so chunky. I can't tell when the roll animation's finished, so I can't. I'm not mastering the parries perfectly yet because the animations are so chunky.
Yeah.
So I think a few more tweaks because it's already got a patch today. I haven't managed to play it again this afternoon, but it's already got a patch. So I'm hoping that just speeds that up a little bit. But I started as the scout, the knight, the sword and board, but I believe a lot of people are having a lot more fun with the archer, the ranged combat, and the skill trees and stuff like that. And it does what Hollow Knight doesn't do, where with Hollow Knight you only kill baddies to get money, don't you? On this, you kill baddies, you get... they're in your way, yeah. On this, you kill baddies to get money and experience, so you level up, and your HP pool goes up and stuff. So there is reason to actually kill baddies in this, because by mid-game of Hollow Knight, you're just dodging everything, aren't you?
Yeah.
One of those things. But yeah, I think it's lovely. Small team. Go on, mate.
I was just saying, just looking at the pictures, it looks like a bit of a tiny little bit like Monster Boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's giving me that vibe. It's not as bright, but like a lot of like the background artwork and some of the character models and stuff is giving me that kind of vibe.
Yeah,
which is a good thing, because that was a great game.
Yeah, it was. But imagine that, but with a lot more like emphasis on story and stuff like that. It's just nice, just like. Do you know how like Dark Souls gives you this environmental storytelling? This does it by like you can see you go forth and there'll be a spike pit right in front of you, and you'll see 2 soldiers like near it, and they'll be like, "Oh God, that were really difficult. That just watch out." And they'll give you hints. You know what I mean? They'll say, "Watch out for over there. There's something or other," or "Don't forget to double back, and there's a secret end." That kind of thing.
Right.
You don't feel like you're fully on your own. It's worth actually speaking to people. I think it's lovely. I think it's fantastic. I am not finished it yet, so I'm not going to put a score on it, but I think it's sensitive. If you like the genre, just buy it. It's cheap. So that's mine.
Sounds like you enjoyed it.
Move on to Stick.
Me?
Yep.
As of yesterday, all I'd done was watch Stranger Things and Obi-Wan, so it's pointless talking about them. Then I did something last night for the pod, for all of you and the listeners.
No.
I sacrificed myself. It's morbing time, baby.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, you didn't.
It's what?
He's watched Morbius.
Oh.
So yeah, unfortunately, you have to put Jared Leto on us. So your pod out this week.
Gonna lose.
It won't be his
listeners.
first appearance.
It's a secret letter on every pod art.
It's just there. It's the best way to describe it. Like, it's not like the worst superhero film I've seen. There are plenty. I've seen a lot worse. But it just doesn't do anything new. It feels like a mid-2000s Daredevil, Elektra, Ghost Rider kind of affair.
So,
Where,
bit crap and forgettable.
yeah, completely crap, completely forgettable. It does that thing where... So Morbius is a bad guy. He's a Spider-Man bad guy, isn't he?
Yep.
And because they've obviously... Oh, we can't have Spider-Man in this film. We're just making these films about Spider-Man bad guys. They have to make him the anti-hero. To do that, they obviously have another version. So you have Jared Leto playing Morbius and Matt Smith playing Milo, and they both have this rare blood.
Milo's in the box.
This rare blood condition, and Morbius has devoted his life to trying to cure this, and doing so ends up turning himself into a vampire. And Milo steals the formula and turns himself into a vampire. So then you just have an evil version of Morbius. So So you have Morbius trying to be good, drinking synthetic blood rather than real blood.
Do they actually call it blood and not plasma?
Yeah, they call it blood. But the thing is about this, there is no blood in this film other than the red liquid you see in like bags in the hospital.
Oh, right.
Even when there are scenes where a policeman gets like cut with sharp fingernails and someone else gets sliced across the belly, the blood is black. Like they deliberately make it really dark so it's not blood. Because obviously it changes the rating of the film, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
So while they've tried to go somewhere different with this film, it's not the usual superhero film that Marvel MCU are putting out. They haven't had the bollocks to go
See it through.
Same with Venom, like they did with Venom, whereas they
just
really...
emphasise that Morbius is a vampire, and yet they're not showing any blood.
Yes,
he's actually the living vampire.
It's ridiculous.
In the books, he used to drink plasma using little suckers on his hands around people's faces, so there were no blood in the comics as well. So
I mean,
it's true to form.
At least in this, they do actually attack and suck people's necks.
Oh, right, from the mouth.
But you just don't. There is no blood. Like it's just. Yeah, it was really weird. They have these tedious links to other, like the Venom film. There's a few lines in there where it's just like, this is like that.
Why did Venom make so much fucking money?
This is like that thing that happened in San Francisco. It's like, no, it's not. And also, this takes place like in like New York. What happens when he says that? It's just off the coast of Long Island. It's like, why are you talking about something that happened in San Francisco? It's just, it makes no sense.
Did you see that with all this meme stuff that they put Morbius back into the cinemas in the US? Yep. And on its first...
I don't know what you mean. What meme stuff? What
the joke that he made there, it's Morbin time, has become a TikTok thing and a Twitter thing. People taking the piss out of Morbius, and
does he mob?
He mobs hard.
Yeah. The PR people thought, oh shit, people are actually interested, and so they put it back in like 1,000 cinemas in the US this weekend, and it made $85,000.
What?
From 1,000 cinemas.
Yeah, they even had Jared Leto like in on the meme as well.
Like posting stuff on TikTok and Twitter and shit.
I watched he popped up on my TikTok the other day, Jared Leto, where, do you know that guy that's going around and being really nice and cutting people's hair and getting people's stories? You'll have seen him, Stig. Really, really good barber. He went to Jared Leto's house as like a PR thing and went, I'm going to cut your hair. And he didn't take any hair off whatsoever. He just brushed his hair. And he's like, wow, God, it's really good. I was like, you haven't fucking cut his hair. Stupid prick.
He does have glorious hair, though, unfortunately.
He does, doesn't he? He does.
But yeah,
so good looking.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything really. It's just pointless. There's lots of slow mo in there. The CGI is not great. When they're fighting each other, it's just them two like twiddling round each other with the camera trying to follow it as they bash through buildings and walls, and you can't see what the hell's going on. It ends really abruptly. Tries to set
no
itself
Blade
up
in it?
for a sequel. No,
Is Blade in it? Because Blade's a known adversary of Morbius.
of course he's not in it.
Ugh.
I think Kevin Feige would want his.
I'm glad the MCU have took Blade. I'm glad they've took him. One of my favourites. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, the after credit scene is just tacked on. Makes no sense whatsoever.
I'm never going to watch it.
I'm going to spoil the end credit scene here, so if you do care about Morbius, then skip ahead. But
I'm not even getting the klaxon here.
you shouldn't care. So basically, Toombs has been transported from MCU world to
The Vulture?
to
What?
Morbius's world due to what happened with No Way Home. So he's gone the other way.
What?
Somehow he managed to find technology to create another Vulture suit, despite the fact that the technology came from the Chitauri, and it wasn't even him that made it, it was the Tinkerer. And he then turns up and he's like, Michael Morbius, I've been reading a lot of things about you. I think we should teach. I goes, I don't know how I got here. It's something to do with Spider-Man, though, I'm sure of it. I think me and you could do good things together. What if that makes any sense?
Was it Michael Keaton as well?
It was Michael Keaton, yeah. It makes no sense. It's just... Yeah, there's nothing redeeming about this film. It is not the worst thing. It's probably a 2 out of 5 star film, but it's just... Yeah.
I am glad that Leto's getting a panning lately. I hope directors are going to be like, right, fuck him now. Fuck him. He's done.
This is
He's
the best review I've seen. It says Jared Leto is like King Midas, except everything he touches turns to shit.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, don't watch it. I've watched it for you.
Hollywood to be in films.
I have sacrificed my time for you people, even though you all knew it was shit. Yeah,
it's just so weird in Blade Runner.
I applaud you.
Yeah,
Blade Runner. He's the worst thing in that as well.
It's so weird, that role that he plays in that. It's just completely... I got what he was trying to do, but it just comes off so badly.
He does. He's the worst thing in most things. It's just so bad. Oh, he made me stop watching Kerrang. Remember Kerrang?
I remember Kerrang.
He was all over that. He was all over that. He's all over it.
Well, there's Bury Me's.
Oh, fuck off.
I like
It's annoying that those songs are quite good, though.
Yeah, I like 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
And I've seen them
Really
live a few
irritating.
times. This is before he went all weird and cultish, though.
Yeah.
Did you go to his island?
No.
Please, kiss me up the head.
Yeah,
No.
Morbius. Don't watch it.
The emo Pope. Fuck him. He's done. He's done. He's done. And now he's on the cover art. He's done it again. He's done it again.
It's just the hold he has on people.
Gadget, please tell me you haven't been seeing any Jared Leto.
No. On a quick one, because I didn't get to talk about it last week because obviously I wasn't here. I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's fucking incredible. You should just all go and see it. It's literally one of the best.
So did Biggie, didn't you, mate?
I second that.
I second that. I third it.
Seconded.
I'm captain, my captain.
The council has declared it is excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, no, fucking brilliant.
5 stars.
Wild,
amazing.
weird, one of the most batshit crazy films I've ever seen, but it had me laughing, it had me crying, it had me gasping. It was so fucking
I love
good.
films like that take risks like that. Fucking, I'm all
absolutely.
about that shit.
And I'm
Fucking
still,
bring it on.
I'm still astonished. It only cost $25 million to make, and like there were 4 visual effects artists on it. 4.
Fantastic,
Wow.
fantastic. The labour of love.
So
I applaud it.
the
Keep them coming.
The guy that plays the husband from the Goonies, I've got his name, but what a comeback for him, man. Just,
Shot
he was
round.
so good in it.
So
good.
yeah, if you can't see it at the cinema, because it's like limited release at the cinema anyway, when it hits the streaming services, just fucking pay for it, watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But the main thing I want to talk about is something that I know Oodles has done, I know Candy's done as well. We've been watching The Boys because it's
Boys
back,
is back.
season 3.
The boys are back in town.
Yeah.
My God, what a first episode. Now, there will be a very few spoilers on this, but we have to talk about something that happens in the first 5 minutes of the first episode. Stig, take it.
That
Good luck.
first scene,
Yeah.
wow.
It's
Does anyone know of the concept of sounding? Because it happens, but I'm going to spoil this. So there is a new super...
Spoiler klaxon will go in. Yeah. If you want to avoid spoilers for the opening 10 minutes of Season 3 of The Boys, skip ahead to 53 minutes. Trust me, you don't want this spoiled. See it fresh.
Perfect. I have to talk about this, because it shook me to my core. There is a new... Yeah, take your headphones off. There's a new superhero. Super villain hero called Termite, isn't there?
Termite was in the very first episode. He just wasn't such a dickhead.
He was,
the
wasn't
first
it?
episode where Butcher's taking Huey through that soup party, and he does
Yes,
a swan dive into some woman's vagina because he can go super.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So he tops that in this. Termite is bisexual, and he has the powers of Paul Rudd in Ant-Man.
Yeah, miniaturization.
He can go super small, and what he does with this power with his boyfriend. He climbs inside his erect penis and massages it from within. Yeah. Now, something happens that shook me. Termite also took a big fucking rail of coke, which I'm led to believe gives you a bit of the sneezers.
It can do. It's a known side effect. Yeah,
I wouldn't know. So he has a little sneeze while he's inside massaging a penis, and he gets big and explodes and destroys his boyfriend. And it's the most horrendous scene I've ever seen on a show in my life.
It's the most horrendous thing. And the good thing about the way that they direct the show, you get that pregnant pause where even the audience has to work out what the fuck they've just seen as the characters work out what the fuck they've just seen.
It's like no scream straight away or anything. It's just like, what the fuck? How? Like, it makes me think that... Imagine being the executive producer of this and going up to the heads at Amazon Prime and going, we've got a scene and it's in the first 5 minutes of the new series. Have you ever heard the concept of sounding?
Now bear with me.
Bear with me. It's fucking disgusting, but insane. And it just tips you, it gets you ready for this season, doesn't it? Perfectly.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, that scene as well, it's actually in the trailer, if you remember, and there was all these, big conspiracies about what's going on. Is this going to be one of the main baddies going around exploding people and stuff? It's like, no, just a throwaway bit right at the beginning. But apparently, the shot with where you really see from Termite's point of view about what he's about to enter, apparently that was actually a practical effect as well. So they had to build a giant peen about 20 foot high.
Yeah. So, but that's the spoiler gone. So Gadget, carry on. I had to talk about it because it's fucking incredible. so brave.
So the general run of this series is that that Homelander's now kind of losing his mind a little bit. Like, this is all the stuff that's kind of established in the trailers and the kind of the lead of it.
Yeah, we're not going to deviate anything from the trailers. So it's all trailer shit.
Yeah, so kind of after the kind of annihilation of Stormfront, Homelander's found himself in a bit of a pickle emotionally, but also publicly, because he's constantly being asked, "Oh, how did you not see what Stormfront was a Nazi and shit like that?" And he's having to deal with that, and he's not. He
says the same thing every time, doesn't he? I'm a human, just like everyone else.
He's not used to his motives being questioned. He's also obviously trying to find his son, who Billy has managed to secrete away somewhere. The Vought have a new substance, which is a 24-hour version of Compound V called Temp V, which gives people the superhero abilities for 24 hours. So
V24, isn't it?
Yeah, naturally that's going to start coming into it. Huey is working for the group, what's it, the Bureau for Superhero Affairs or something like that?
Something like that.
And effectively Butcher is working for him, so Butcher's not happy about that. And Frenchie and Kimiko are just trying to have a nice time.
Oh, I love them too.
They're amazing.
I stan Frenchie and Kimiko.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I love them.
I think this is pitching it up to be the last season. I think the way the story...
I do, mate.
So the first 3 episodes
I genuinely do.
I kind of feel like, they're pitching up to have maybe some kind of climactic battle between Butcher and Homelander in some way, shape, or form, or I don't know, but either way, it looks like it's pitched up the last series. Deep comes back into it in a rather funny set of circumstances, and also one rather horrific moment.
I'm not going to spoil what happens.
Yeah, no, don't spoil what happens. But throughout it, like, Homelander is getting. If you thought he was off the fucking rails in the last series, no, he's getting there, but it's like a more sinister way because he's not going around murdering people like he used to do. He's kind of just losing it a bit, and it's really interesting to watch. I don't know if it's just because of the amount of time between filming season 2 and filming season 3, but Anthony Starr looks like he's aged as well. Like, it looks like, I don't know if they changed. He looks tired, doesn't he? Yeah, I don't know if they changed the makeup, but Homelander looks tired now.
His hair's not as blonde as well.
No, you can see his roots. He needs his roots doing.
Yeah.
Butcher is as charming as ever with that fake.
Yeah, every time I hear him talk, it reminds me of like 10 of your voices on D&D Gadget. Like,
wow, whatever you think of that. You know, it's such a fake Cockney accent, but it suits him down
awful.
To the ground.
I think it's awful, but it's endearing. It wouldn't surprise me if the character turns around and says, "I'm not even a Cockney." It's just putting it on.
There's a bit in the like the catch up bit in the very opening of it, where where Butcher kind of looks up at Huey and goes, "Don't worry, Daddy's home," and it caused Pip to have a physical reaction.
I mean, like, Carl Urban, everyone knows he's a sexy man, and a lot of women really dig his dyed hair, dyed beard, daddy vibes that he's giving off, and this is the most daddy he's ever been, thematically and physically. It's really good. It's really good.
So, yeah, I mean, there's 3 episodes out on Prime now. It's a 10-episode season, so it's 1 episode per Friday. Garrett watched. It's violent, it's bloody, it's funny, it's actually got some really good drama scenes in this in this opening.
I thought it's quite there's a lot of human elements to it, isn't there now?
Yeah, there's one scene involving something that Billy's watching on a laptop. That's just like, oh man, whew, that was a big emotional beat. That so yeah, it's
definitely.
I think it's always delivered that though. It's very different to the comics in that sense. It's looked for that human link, I guess, to make it a bit more grounded, considering how mad it is.
It's fantastic. It's people, when it first came out, people were like, "Oh, it's like Watchmen. It's like Watchmen." This is the furthest from Watchmen you could think of, really. This is not like Watchmen. It's like X-Men.
I mean, they're both violent, I guess.
It's just weird, man.
And I'm loving that they're giving more screen time to Giancarlo Esposito as Edgar Stan.
He's good, isn't he?
Stanley
He's
Edgar,
really good.
His name is. I can't remember what his actual character's name is.
Edgar,
that's it. Yeah,
Dan Edgar. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm enjoying seeing more screen time with him because, again, with Homelander trying to act out, like, he's the one character that Homelander seems to be afraid of, and it's actually really refreshing to see like Homelander throwing a fit, and then Edgar just sitting there going, "No, you can't do this. You just can't."
No, it's like it's that aspect that they tried to bring it last season. Like, how do you make God kneel to you? You're making me relevant.
Yeah,
that's the only way. That is it. So Homelander sees himself as God, doesn't he? Or you breastfeed him. my one favourite like little background joke in this, it's not even a spoiler, is when there's like, watch this on Vort Plus and Vort.
Oh yeah,
Vort, he does all the little Vort channels and stuff and hashtag Vort, and I'm like, this is fucking brilliant.
Or was it like VLN, the Vort Lifetime Network or something?
Yeah,
the channel
Vort for women.
Did you know that's exactly what it would be like in real life? That they would,
of course it is.
The superheroes would be doing their own films and they'd have all these commercials and their own like sponsorship deals and stuff.
Yeah, they go to Vortland and stuff, don't they? Like, which is like Disney World. But
in this one stick, they've got American Hero, which is Vort's version of American Idol, to get someone into the 7.
Yeah.
And you've got Starlight being the host of it, and it's so fucking awkward, every scene involving it.
It's just perfect, though, isn't it? That's exactly how it would be. Even down to the bit where they're like, hang up your capes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's like, take your cape off.
Hang up your capes. You're out. Yeah, you're fired. Oh, and, so fucking good.
Yeah, there's what's it? Queen Maeve's Inclusivity Palace or something like that, which is bisexual.
Yeah.
Oh, in Wokeland.
Yeah,
in Wokeland, they had LGBTQ plus week at Vortland, don't they?
It's so
It's fucking fantastic.
It's great. Yeah, just if you got Prime, just fucking watch it. It's one of the best things.
I say it to a lot of people though, because you'll know if you're in. Because you'll need a strong stomach to watch this, especially even back in first season. It's not for the faint-hearted at all.
Oh, the bloods and special effects budget has gone up on this one. Like, there's some, even these first 3 episodes, there's some bleak shit. There's a couple of moments where
it's disgusting stuff.
Yeah, where you just sat there going, Like,
you can't eat your dinner and watch this.
Oh, nah. I wouldn't even recommend drinking a beer at times watching it. there's enough moments where the beer's going out your nose when you don't.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
Jesus.
Proper shock. Definitely don't watch it with children. I'd say it's strictly 18 and over, and only if you're at that disposition that you can stomach it, because this makes Tarantino films look fucking child's play.
Yeah. There's some adults you shouldn't watch this with. Ooh.
Yeah, it's fucking mental. But I love it. Love it. Give me more. Why is it not Friday? That's all I can say. And it will be, when you listen to this, tomorrow for more boys. Oh, so, yes. Biggie, you've been doing everything everywhere all at once, haven't you? So we can brush past
Strangers,
you. Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. So, yeah.
Brush past that. Sweep you under the rug. Candy.
I've had a busy one this week. I've had a weekend in London. So I went to go see Videogames Live, which is a live orchestra playing the music from video games. It was at the Royal Albert Hall and played by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and the Crouch End Chorus. And it was conducted by my new woman crush, lady called Emma Noon. Emma Noon, Irish lady. Oh, my God, such a babe. So she might be basically one of the coolest women on the planet. So she's not only just conducted a full orchestra and choir at the Royal Albert Hall. The first video game she ever worked on was Metal Gear Solid when she was still in college.
Ooh.
She's won multiple awards and nominations for the music she composed in Warcraft. She does a lot of work for Blizzard. And she was the first female conductor to lead the orchestra at the Oscars.
Good.
Yeah,
well
it's really cool, really accomplished. And the outfit she wore during the performance just was incredible too. I'm absolutely in awe of her. Wearing high heels the entire show. I'm just going to see if I can drop that in Discord a minute. So at least you'll be able to see it. So they played music. Let me just tell you, it was an absolute sob fest the entire time. I wept my way through it, as I was fully expecting to. So she played music from Warcraft that she had composed herself. She played the theme tune to Kingdom Hearts, which had multiple men just absolutely weeping. Halo, they had the chorus, fully belting it out, music from The Last of Us. Ori and the Will of the Wisps as well. And if you've ever heard that soundtrack, it's just, the entire thing is just beautiful.
That sounded like you said, Ori the Willy the Wisp.
The Willy the Wisp, yes, the Willy the Wisp. The Will of the Wisps.
That's it.
Gareth Coker, actually, I didn't realise who's the composer of that music, is a British guy, and he was in the audience as well, so that was cool. Music from Mario and Hades and Baldur's Gate. Now, the conductor is actually married to the composer of Baldur's Gate, who was also in attendance. Fallout, which got me shivering as well. One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII, and she also, to finish the show, did a really nice composition of, it was basically like the Zelda medley that she went through. Oh, and as well, there were 2 songs from a new version of Chrono Cross, so it's Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition. And 2 songs got their world premiere.
It's such a great soundtrack on the remaster.
Yeah, and it was sung by a lady called Ashlyn McGlynn, who did the vocals for the actual recording as well.
Play Chrono Cross, everybody. Play it.
Yeah, it was such a good evening. It's just, there's nothing compared to live music, and even if you're not into computer games and stuff, it's just it moves you. The music just goes straight through you. It's just really impactful. And I think this year is one of the first years they're actually doing video games music at the proms as well.
Yeah, they are.
So I think that's...
Well, they did it at the Olympics as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's getting big. I might have to start admitting my love for games soon,
I think a lot of the composers now, like, no one makes music for the sake of it just being classical music, do they? It's all for TV and film and just as much video games now too. Yeah, so that was a really, really good night. I loved it. The other thing I've done is I've been watching Pistol, which is the program about the Sex Pistols on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a thing. Danny Boyle's directed it, and it's actually based on Steve Jones, who's the guitarist, Steve Jones' book that was released in 2016.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this, but Steve Jones and Danny Boyle actually had to sue John Lydon, aka Johnny Rotten, for the rights to use the music. He's an old curmudgeon these days, and he's just not into it whatsoever.
He likes butter, though, doesn't he? British butter.
Yeah, butter and a farmer's wife is what he enjoys these days. Not a sellout at all.
No.
It's quite fun. I think there was probably a bit of style over substance during some of it, but overall it was a fun watch. The thing is, I've seen the history of the Sex Pistols portrayed in so many different ways. I've read so many different accounts, and I think probably somewhere amongst it all, you can kind of get a grip of what actually happened, like some of the truth. And I think this was definitely embellished a little bit.
It was a fashion movement rather than a musical movement.
Oh,
there weren't any good musicians.
Yeah, exactly. It was
terrible musicians.
And it does touch on that as well. And what I did like to see was the inclusion of all the people that were kind of at the forefront of the punk scene. That weren't sort of directly in the band, but they moved in the same circles. So you had that punk model, Pamela Rook, aka Jordan, recently passed, actually. You would have seen her, the lady with the mohawk, and she always had the cat eyes
I've seen
everything.
Her.
Yeah, absolute icon of the 70s. And she was played by Maisie Williams, so that was cool. Helen of Troy was in it, Vivienne Westwood, of course, and Chrissy Hynde from The Pretenders. They all played pretty big roles in the thing. So that was a bit of a breath of fresh air to see them included as well. The real surprise of the show was Thomas Brodie Sangstar, who you might know from Game of Thrones and Love Actually, the little boy. He played Malcolm McLaren, of all people.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he old enough?
Yeah.
Well, apparently he is.
Is he an adult now?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Malcolm McLaren was about 30, and I guess he's about 30, although he does still look about 12.
What is time? How is this kid 30 now?
I know. But I think he possibly could have turned the arseholeness up a notch, because from all reports, Malcolm McLaren was the absolute worst.
He was He was an absolute bastard.
Worst of the worst.
Yeah. And
they probably didn't go into that as much as they could have done. But they only had limited time. It was a 6-episode show. Actually, the standout for me was the actor that played Johnny Rotten. I haven't seen him in anything else before. Anson Boone, his name is. I think his performance was a bit of an over-exaggeration of him. He does play this really, snarling, angry, kind of raggedy version of him that you would genuinely find scary and intimidating. But if you look back at old interviews of Johnny Rotten, he tended to kind of keep the snarling on stage, whereas in interviews and everything, he was more just the king of sarcasm, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was also trying to be a poet as well at the same time, wasn't he? And doing weird, meta commentary on the monarchy and stuff like that. It's like, come on, lay off it, mate. You're probably rich and posh anyway.
Probably. I mean, it didn't help that he had the face of an absolute cherub when he was that age as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Just an adorable little person snarling away. But yeah, it's a fun show. Certainly if you're a music fan, or if you're any kind of passing fan of the Sex Pistols, give it a go.
Is it in the same ilk as Pam and Tommy, or is it a bit more serious?
It's a bit more serious. It's Danny Boyle to start, so that gives you some idea of kind of the look of the show. The kind of train spotting type thing. But I mean, it has some less serious moments. But no, I wouldn't really compare it to Pam and Tommy. Although if you like your music shows, you'll probably like that too.
Cool.
But yeah.
Is that everything, everybody?
It is.
Yep. Let's get on to the main topic, and I believe, Stig, you're heralding this.
Yes. So I want to talk this week about long-running franchises that we love and have been going for yonks, and why we love them.
I love that word, yonks. It don't get used enough.
Yonks.
Yonks. For American listeners, it means
yonking.
a long time.
A very,
Yonking.
very long time.
Yonks.
Oh, sorry, a little bit of burp coming out there from that beer.
Cheeky.
Right, I shall start this one. It's my topic, so I'll head on in, and I want to talk about a franchise that's been going for 25 years now. Started in 1997. Came out originally on the PC. It was then moved over to the PlayStation and Game Boy Color, and that is, of course, Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
Is
Steal what you can and run from the nation. Hey, what do you say?
I
Remember
mean,
that on the first
I mean
one?
that from the first get go, the music, the title music is just incredible.
So good.
It was like nothing I'd ever seen before, and I cannot actually believe our parents even bought us this in 1997.
Same, mate. I don't understand.
Yeah, my brother was just like, "Can I have Grand Theft Auto?" Yeah, okay. There you go. And
Knowing what that meant as adults, that's a felony.
I was old enough to bloody buy it.
Oh well.
Biggie was buying copies for the local teenagers, wasn't he?
Yeah, I stood outside Electronics Boutique going, here you go, lads.
There's my own criminal.
Yep.
Smooth criminal.
Yes, so GTA, the first one started, it was a 2D bird's eye view game where you ran around the city, drove around the city, and you answered public phones, and you were given jobs to do, and you went off and did those jobs, earning points, completing missions. The more missions and money you got, the more you could unlock in terms of weapons and cars and things.
It was quite arcadey, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Kill Frenzy!
Yeah, things like was it Garanga, where you literally just ran down, like... There was one of the things you could do if you ran down the straight line of the gang members perfectly. Yeah. You got like a bonus.
Hey, Krishners.
Yeah, chased by the police.
Krishners,
blowing up buildings and stuff. And like I said, at the time, it was nothing like it. It was kind of weird.
I think it was the first sandbox game I ever played. Yeah,
like really amazing. Really, if you look at the map of it, there's loads of different areas.
It came with a nice map as well, didn't it?
Oh yeah, those were the days as well. Talk about that with the other GTAs as well, with the maps you used to get that you could pull out, and you're like, where am I? And you'd have like a full-on map that you had in your case that you could pull out and have a look.
Was it the first one? Was it even Rockstar? Was it like DMA Design?
It was DMA Design before it became Rockstar.
Yeah, I thought it was.
GTA 3 was still DMA Design before they became Rockstar.
Was it? Oh, right. I didn't know that.
So GTA 2, which came out 2 years later in 1999, that was published by Rockstar but developed by DMA.
Yeah.
This is actually the only blind spot in my GTA history. Never played it.
Don't know why. It's futuristic.
It's weird. Looking at
3 maps as well.
It's obviously just, it's better graphics, probably, and all newer things. And
it had a lot more dialogue in it as well.
Yeah, it tried to have a story. Tried to be the operative word. It was so bad.
And little bit of nugget of information. The 3 maps were Liberty City, Vice City, and San Andreas, weren't they?
Yeah,
sure they were. Sure they were.
No, the way they also described. I remember they described it in kind of like previews, and that like the idea was that you were technically in one city, but it was like different levels of the city. So you kind of rose higher and higher,
like a mega city.
Yeah, and I know. I remember playing it and thinking, well, that's fucking bullshit, but I'm having fun regardless.
Because they were like Akira trikes, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like bikes and stuff. It was weird. I loved it.
Yeah, and obviously the first one as well, sorry I skipped over, had a GTA London spin-off as well.
Oh, yeah. That was
fun.
Good. That was
How have they never gone back
more
to
or less
London?
A reskin, really, wasn't it? With like, let's put
it was just a reskin.
Yeah, let's put some red phone boxes in, and oh look, that's a Mini with a Union Jack on
and
it.
Everyone looked like Austin Powers.
Yeah.
The cutscenes in it were great though, because they had the worst Cockney voice acting in it.
Here, I want you to go down the street and get me some fish and chips. It was like that, weren't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the hired voice actors.
I'm Biggie.
Yeah.
I'm Biggie.
The hired voice actors have gone, so to do a Michael Caine impression, you're not very good at it. Perfect.
Yeah,
loved it.
GTA 3, that is just revolutionary.
Game changer.
Absolute game changer. The fact that it was around the time I was like, the rumors of it, GTA 3 is coming out. Have you heard it's going to be like fully 3D, like third person? You can walk around the city and everything. It's like, no, fuck off. It's not going to be like that.
No,
and you got all the previews in the magazines and things like that. It's like, Jesus, look at this.
Yeah,
and it was just incredible at the time. Just
mind that game.
Yeah, you're a silent protagonist but they still
Plod.
hired people like Joe Pantoliano, Michael Madsen, Michael Rappaport, Frank Vincent to do like voiceovers. And this one takes place in Liberty City, and
It's fucking brilliant.
it was just so good at the time. Absolutely incredible. Driving around 3D, getting in and out of these cars, all these different weapons, being chased by the police like in helicopters, and then you could get a tank in the third one, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could get a tank.
Yeah.
Your first mission is basically to twat somebody with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And then your second
yeah,
mission is
yeah.
to pick up a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There was
then
all
run her over and get
that
your
kind
money
of
back.
side. Yeah.
Does anyone else, if they ever hear that bit of music from the loading screen, that ever just get like the warm fuzzies down your back?
Do you know what? I made the ultimate mistake back in the day when that came out. So I had a PS2 and I got it for Christmas. I've talked about how I got it and stuff on this show. I went down to EB at the time, and I was like, I saw 2 games. I was like, State of Emergency, Grand Theft Auto 3. Which do I
Don't
do?
tell me you went State of
I
Emergency.
picked State of Emergency.
What is wrong
What
with
an
you?
Idiot.
Oh,
Took it back.
Jesus.
Took it back. And got.
I've said it before, but I literally drove around that city just following people, just walking the streets, just taking in the atmosphere. I mean, it's probably half empty if you go back to it now. But back then,
It's
it
tiny.
just seemed
It
like
is.
nothing else.
I like driving around in was it the Sentinel? There's one of the cars, a Bulldog or Sentinel or something like that. One of the cars. I used to always pick that car. I had my favourite car. I used to drive, what people still do today, try and do that, stopping at the red lights, the little, try and be a good member of society, but it's so much fun to not.
Oh, you can't play those games and like drive around normally, just like fuck it.
I've been watching someone on YouTube play GTA 5 without breaking any laws, and it's fucking fantastic what you have to do.
That's a game mode. There's a service you can go in where you have to be a law-abiding citizen. You are
Yeah, there's
given
policemen
jobs-
in there.
You're given jobs to do, and you have to go do those jobs, and you have to drive around normally. You can't break the law. It's like,
I love it.
what's the point in that?
Why?
That's just not GTA, is it?
I know
It's,
somebody
it's
that would
in the name of the
absolutely
fucking
love
thing. GTA, Grand Theft Auto.
Mate, I did Lawnmower Simulator at 8.5 out of 10 this week. I like doing mundane jobs.
But even then, like this game, obviously, it's the soundtrack to this as well, where you can have all the different radios and things like that.
Yeah.
Everything about it was just mind blowing.
Was this the first one with Laszlo on it?
Yes.
Yes.
Gosh, I used to listen to that all the fucking time.
Yeah, I love
Exactly.
Laszlo.
It's so funny.
I love that the running thread of Laszlo's story through all the games, because he's in all of the games
Yeah.
after 3.
He's in them all, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like the kind of like by the time you get to Grand Theft Auto 5, he's like an Alex Jones conspiracy type.
Yeah, he's
screaming
terrible,
down
isn't
the
he?
radio.
Yeah, because on Vice City, he was like just a shock jock DJ, wasn't he? Just
Yeah, he was on V-Rock.
Yeah, because it's a prequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like as well on Laszlo's station as well is the talk radio is that the more you progress in the game, it
Yes.
unlocks new parts in the radio. So
Does.
your like love interest in inverted commas, like in that game, starts calling into the radio, going, "He just doesn't talk. Like I'm trying to open my heart to him, and he never says anything back to me."
Yeah, I remember that. It's so good. Love it.
But Grand Theft Auto Vice City, this is my favorite one.
Same.
As we discussed last week, this is where they brought in Ray Liotta to voice Tommy as you, the main character. But this is where they obviously they had the budget to hire these actors. So they've got William Fichtner, Tom Sizemore, Dennis Hopper, Louise Guzman, Burt Reynolds, Danny Trejo, Gary Busey. It's just Danny Dyer's in it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in San Andreas as well.
Yeah. Jenna Jameson played the porn star in that as well.
Candy sucks.
Candy sucks, yep.
I remember her.
So yeah,
It had a full band as well. Love Fist, didn't it?
Yeah, they did like 3 original songs for it.
Love Fist were brilliant.
the soundtrack to it was incredible. The Miami look of it. You got motorbikes in this one. I think speedboats were introduced as well.
Planes, helicopters.
It's every Grand Theft Auto has just introduced something new, and that's what I love about it. It's just like, right, what can we do now?
Bought all the
with last
CDs
one?
for this one. There was a massive pack
Yes, I
released
got
for
it.
each radio station.
Big cardboard.
Yeah.
I've got
One of the
got
radio
somewhere.
stations is just the Scarface soundtrack as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I used to listen to Emotion and V-Rock. Like,
push it to the limit. But going into the club, just getting him to dance.
No return.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to play Vice City again.
Was it bombing down the beachfront strip with everybody's working for the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
so good. So good. And like this one in the last game as well, it's obviously you start in certain parts of the city and you unlock bits of it, and that's kind of always been a thing, hasn't it?
There's always a storm, so you can't go over the bridge.
Yeah. Like, oh, the bridge is now repaired. It's like, great, got there now.
Let's go.
I just got to quickly go through these because we've got a lot to talk about. But and then it moved on to San Andreas, and it went with the 90s kind of,
which introduced BMXers.
Yeah, gangster fit with like LA gangsters and gangs and stuff.
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah, you had like Samuel Jackson was in this one, and a few others. Ice-T was in it as well. Chris Penn. So this cast wasn't as big as Vice City, but still had some kind of big names and big hitters in there. And this is where the game as well, where it wasn't just, we've introduced BMXs in this. It's like you could now customize your character, so you could make him
fat.
Fat or muscular or skinny. You could give him all different hairstyles and different clothes. And
look, my CJ is canonically fat.
Mine was
not having any
mine
other way.
was muscular as fuck. I pumped him up massive.
They also put consequences. If you make your CJ too fat, there are some missions you can't do when you get to the later game.
Yeah, because you can't run. You can't run.
Yeah, because like you'll get dialogue to say, no, you need to lose some fucking weight before you can do this.
Yeah,
job.
he does. but you do take more. You take more bullet damage. You take less, because you're bigger and you can absorb the bullets. Which I don't think that's how it works.
No, that is a
works in real life as well.
Yeah. I've been shot so many times and I don't even notice it. I'm just immune. I'm
bullet sponge me.
But yeah, those first three were across the PS2, and they're just great. They were just so good. Like each one just had its own unique spin. The look of the city, the characters, the way, the style of it. Like even in like I said, Vice City, the menus and everything was kind of like that neon colors and things like that.
I didn't feel like I had to wait long for these to come out as well. It probably was, but
no. It was a year in between each of them, wasn't it?
2001, 2, and then 2004.
Oh, yeah. 2 years for San Andreas.
Not like we are now.
I had to wait for 15 years.
3 console generations.
Then we got 4 was the
my least favorite.
Yeah, this is my least favorite, but it's still really good. A lot of good stuff in there. A lot of really good physics. Like if you look back at some of the physics in this game compared to 5,
the drunken physics are good.
The driving is terrible.
The way you react,
shit.
The way you react with certain things.
Yeah.
In GTA 5, you'll just fly through them. Like the obstacle's not even there, and like it's little things. I think like when you're reloading guns and the clips and stuff, like stay on the ground.
It's the bit on GTA 4 that I'll always remember where, do you know how there's litter all over the city? It can literally blow in your face and like brush off your face rather than go through the character model.
That's what I mean.
Fuck.
It's a lot more...
They don't do that in 5 at all.
It feels a lot more real in that kind of essence.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's a lot browner though as a game, isn't it? Very brown game.
It is very brown. It's set in I think this is Liberty City again.
Yeah, it's Liberty City.
It is, yeah.
It's a really good version of Liberty City as well. I really like it.
Yes, it really brings like that New York style.
It's got proper downtown, hasn't it, with skyscrapers and stuff,
and the overhead trams, trains, and things like that as well. Like it does look like grimy and dirty in areas and stuff. Like it just really looks really good. And there are some great characters in there, apart from your cousin who just wants to go bowling all the time.
Roman.
Oh, the amount of times your phone goes off is so annoying.
Cousin! I didn't like 4 that much until I got Ballad of Gay Tony. I fucking loved Ballad of Gay Tony.
The expansions are incredible.
The DLC were great.
Yeah.
That's really, I was like, okay, that's what this is designed for. Ballad of Gay Tony felt like Vice City and GTA 3, and do you know what I mean? It felt more fun.
Yeah, like this one was like the next step up in like the way it looked, the way it moved, and everything like that in terms of your next generational jump. And it added a few things like games and stuff. You could go like pool and darts and all that kind of thing.
And it was the first online, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I didn't play it online though. I wasn't really.
I didn't
online. But GTA 5 this came out in 2013.
Behemoth.
And this is spread across 3 generations.
Isn't it the best-selling game of all time? Sure it is.
Selling 800 million in the first day alone.
Surely nothing's beat that. Ever.
Selling 110 million copies as of 2019. So
that's got to be the number one. It's got to be.
Who the hell
it's
is
still
still
going
buying
strong.
it?
Yes.
I bought it every week.
I bought it 2 years ago for the PC and put 25, 30 hours into it because it's still so fucking good. Even like when I first got this,
gave it away.
I wasn't playing online with it, but I loved what they did with the single player. It's like somewhat brand new. It's like, right now you control 3 different characters. You can switch between those characters whenever you want to, unless you're in the middle of a mission. You can go off to different parts of the city with that character, do their missions. Sometimes they'll interact in the missions, sometimes they won't. But you had different characters, you had different storylines going on. You could pick your favorite and carry on with them if you wanted to, or you could, I'm going to go and play with Trevor for a bit instead.
I did used to like when you transitioned to the characters and they were doing something. It's like they were actually living. Like Trevor would wake up in the middle of a desert with no clothes on.
Yeah,
when you transition to him and stuff. Like Franklin had come out of a barbershop or something.
Yeah, if you'd left it long enough, they'd fucked off and done something.
They'd done something.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
I just really love that, and the city is alive. It's more alive than any other city that they've done.
Oh, it's
so much to do. There's so many vehicles. There's so many missions. Online just has added another level to that. I played a lot. All the stuff that I've played like a couple of years ago was all online with some friends. Just go and do the casino every day, and you just do a free roll, and you win cars.
There's actual casino now.
Yeah, there's a big casino every day. You get you get a free roll. You can win cars. You can win just apparel. You can win money, whatever.
It's free. I might download it.
You can have a penthouse above it, so that you just go downstairs into the casino. Yeah.
Or you can go play. Like, every now and again, I go play roulette just to get some money.
I keep getting emails saying they've deposited $1 million in me. I bet I'm the richest man on GTA Online now. Because I played it since the beginning. It's the same character. I'm probably rich beyond my wildest dreams.
The stuff that you can do on this game, even outside of the mods, is just incredible. Now, they've added so many mods to it, so many missions, so many heists. They've brought in the likes of Dr. Dre to do like special music and missions, and brought him as a character to do online heists and things like that. And he's flying around in jets. One of the missions we had to do just intricate sniper missions where we had to get people in the right spots. Right, you take him out first, you go, then I can sneak in and do that. And if you don't do it right, it doesn't. It's incredible. And as far as a franchise goes, GTA hasn't missed for me.
There's no diminishing returns, is there? Really,
I haven't had a bad experience with GTA. I haven't completed them all because they're so big, and eventually I just drop off because I'm doing. I
haven't finished missions. 5.
No,
Five's the only one I haven't finished. My biggest issue with 5 is I'm not a massive fan of the 3 main characters. They just, as amusing as they are at times,
I like him a lot.
Franklin's the better character out of the 3.
He's my favourite one.
I just
don't
think
with his head screwed on.
But that's it. I just think when you do the missions and stuff is fine, but actually the cutscenes with the characters, they are very annoying and not very relatable. I thought Franklin's the more.
I was one of the rare people that found Trevor really grating. I didn't. I like Stephen Ogg that plays him because he's in Walking Dead and stuff like. He's really good, but he's just too loose. I can't trust him. I just want to shoot him back at head all the time.
Yeah, I kind of dropped off it when you had to torture the poor guy, and I thought that
I don't even think I got that far.
By GTA standards, it's a bit grim.
It was. Yeah.
I didn't get that far. The last thing I remember. I'm talking. This has got to be 10 years ago. Last thing I remember was Trevor was coming back into the city, finding out that Michael was alive. That's as far as I've got in this game. I don't even know if that's the beginning or middle.
You are nowhere into that game at all.
Yeah,
maybe I should play it. Maybe I should do it.
It shines online. It genuinely online is, and you don't even have to play with friends online. There's so much to do online now. Owning your own.
Got none.
You can own your own club and do missions to make your club run better.
That's cool.
Drug running missions and heists and hitman missions, that kind of things. There's so much to do on it. It's incredible. It's just it's it's obvious why this game is now 9 years into it, coming up 10 years, and they haven't even we hadn't had a sniff at the next GTA.
Obviously, this is your choice and your pick. What do you want to see in the future for the franchise? What do you want to see in 6? What do you personally want to see?
I don't know, because I don't know how we improve on 5 other than graphics.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Maybe
I think they need to go to a different country or different area. Like, I think London, England would be a great choice. Somewhere else in the States would be
a bigger
bit more
city, like, because there is the one thing that is
they've not done.
kind of thing is, as you get out of the city, there's sporadic towns and stuff everywhere, but there's a lot of like wasted space, which is kind of fun. But you eventually just like, fuck's sake, I'm taking ages to get from one place to another. That is the only kind of downfall, really. But the fact now is that you can get a DeLorean and fly there if you want. Or a fighter jet and fly there and just dive out of it and parachute into where you're going. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
a DeLorean.
Yeah, you can get a DeLorean.
Wow, what the fuck?
So,
where we're going, we don't need roads.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Personally, I just Vice City. Go back to Vice City on the water in Miami, kind of
heavy story
area,
emphasis,
but bigger than what we got before. Obviously, it would be bigger, but like a bigger Miami.
Do you know what they'd do now if it was in Miami and stuff? They'd be like, and realistic sun tanning on the character and stuff like that. They'll get a tan the longer you play it and stuff like that. They'll do all that and it'll be absolutely mind blowing.
That probably will be a
tracing
thing.
Windows.
You want to just go lie on the beach and tan?
Yeah, and get a tan. Because you can only get in this club if you're tanned enough.
Yeah, that's mine. GTA. I think it's incredible, and it's 25 years of fantastic games. So
I agree.
Gadget. What about yourself?
So my one is 56 years old. 4 years' time, it gets its 60th birthday. Because I want to
ball on a string.
I want about Star Trek.
Oh,
yes, boy.
Which was so it was created by Gene Roddenberry, and the first episode of the original series came out in 1966.
Good year for football, that.
So I hear. The basic premise of the show was to be a optimistic, looking forward science fiction show, promoting inclusivity, promoting exploration, not just shooting aliens all the time, although that did happen occasionally.
It did.
Obviously, the original series kind of broke several new grounds in the fact that, yes, it was serialized science fiction on television, which was incredibly popular. It had a diverse cast. So, obviously, in the primary cast, you had Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura, and you also had George Takei, who played Sulu. Both kind of people of color that you generally didn't see on primetime TV in the US at that time.
Especially not main cast.
No, and you also got the first interracial kiss on TV between William Shatner and Nichelle Nichols. And I think she
was hot.
No, I think she recalled that he was a terrible kisser or something like that.
Do you know what's funny?
He's taking his mask off.
We know all this, and proper fans know all this, but it's amazing how they'll do something now and people go, oh, it's just going woke, it's terrible. It's like, have you seen where it started? It's always been like that. Like,
exactly.
It's incredible.
Prime goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been incredible for that.
Yeah. So the also thing is, well, given its cultural impact, Star Trek only ran for 3 seasons and 79 episodes. And
I thought it were more.
No, about 10 of those episodes weren't even aired until years and years later. It got cancelled in the middle of the 3rd season.
Wow.
It was brought back in the 70s for the animated series, where they obviously the original cast voiced their characters, but it came back in the 70s. And it wasn't until Star Trek the Motion Picture came out that it started having the kind of cultural juggernaut appeal that it had. Because Star Trek the Motion Picture came out, which then just spawned off the series of films. And Star Trek the Motion Picture was fine. It's a slow, long film, but when it kicks in, it's really good. But then you got Wrath of Khan. And oh my words. Exactly. Wrath of Khan. And it is true that it's only every even numbered Star Trek film is any good. But, because, the search for Spock was a bit... But the films kind of brought it back and made it culturally relevant. They got bigger budgets. They had more impressive things. And in the 80s, Paramount decided, okay, we've been successful with these films. Let's let's put you back on the telly, and that's where we got Star Trek: The Next Generation, which was the last thing Gene Roddenberry produced, because he stepped away from the films and he started working on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and he died, I think, during the fourth recording of the fourth season. But that just absolutely hit the ground running. It obviously made a household name out of Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes and the rest of the cast. It took the concept of Star Trek and just upped the production values. You had much better models, much better sets, much better special effects, much better aliens. This one ran longer. This was 7 seasons for 179 episodes, I think it was. And then the 90s were just the Star Trek times.
Oh, so good.
Because as Next Generation was wrapping up, you got the start of DS9, Deep Space Nine, which took it in a different direction. Rather than being a starship that's exploring through the universe, this one you got a static space station, and it became more of a very insular. It's almost like a family drama. DS9, I fucking love it. It's my favorite series because the storylines that they get out there, and the characters and the different interactions with them are much more interesting to me. Rather than having an alien of the week or the race of the week or whatever they're doing, you get to learn about these characters, and you get to they get to build themselves up. You get to build up the stories. But then, like, I think it's season 5, you get the Dominion War, and my God, that shit kicks off. It's so good. Oh my God,
it is so good.
I love the Dominion War. And then you get Voyager, which I also love, and a lot of Star Trek fans didn't like, but I thought Voyager was fucking excellent.
It's coming off Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, though, isn't it?
True, yeah.
It's not as good as them, but it's still.
I mean, you've brushed
like
past
a nice
my favourite
extension.
character, Odo.
Odo
lives in a bucket.
I mean, yeah, Odo's great. That's what you want.
Your favourite one.
That's when your chief security officer, a man who can subsist in a bucket.
Who
for
lives in
20
a
hours.
bucket.
But
Love Odo.
To be fair, though, Quark is the best character, and it's because of their interactions. Quark versus Odo, at all times, is always the funniest thing.
That's really good.
But yeah, DS9 took things a different way. So that was not DS9. Voyager took things a different way. So Voyager, the Starship Voyager, gets hurled across the galaxy to a place where the Federation of Planets aren't, and they have to work their way back. And it's going to take them 70 years to do it. So you get back to doing a little bit kind of race or monster of the week kind of thing, but they get to be a bit more creative with it because by this point, everything within the Federation, which is one quadrant of the galaxy, is kind of known. So you're not really encountering new stuff. Where Voyager, they get to just do a load of new shit, and then it gets all Borg, who are the best alien baddies in television. I'm not going to say ever because I think the Xenomorph from Alien is slightly better. But the Borg...
What about the Daleks?
Fuck off. You're fucking bins. No, the Borg are incredible. I love the Borg. And the fact that they featured so heavily in Star Trek First Contact, and then they also feature very heavily throughout Voyager. Oh, they're just so good. And then they shit the bed with Enterprise, didn't they?
I watched that first episode and I stopped.
Getting it from here. Belonged.
I can't believe that theme tune.
I've got faith of the heart.
I want violins. I want horns. I don't want a Rod Stewart-esque song.
Yeah. Oh God. It's so the problem with Enterprise is I think they tried to make it too broad an appeal for it because like doing a prequel series makes things difficult because a lot of the lore is known, and so they're having to kind of write a new story around what exists. And I don't think they didn't happen upon anything that was interesting. Like Scott Bakula as the captain was fine,
Count Bakula.
But the problem is that what they tried to do is they tried to make the crew as close to like the original series crew as you could possibly get. And it just didn't work. It wasn't very good. And for a long time, we sat in this weird no man's land of no Star Trek, which we called these the dark days. J.J. Abrams got a crack at making some new films with middling success. The first one was great. The second one, we don't talk about. The
third one I can't remember. Can't remember what happened in the third one. That's how.
The third one was good, but is entirely
stuck on a planet, aren't they?
Yeah,
stuck on an unknown planet.
But also written by Simon Pegg, which is why his Scotty is in a lot of it.
Yeah,
a lot
Scotty
more
heavy.
But so that one again, that's the J.J. Abrams thing though. The kind of the franchise shits the bed because he can start things but he can't finish them. But I did like Chris. I did like Chris Pine as Kirk. I thought he was great as Kirk.
And Carl Urban.
I think the casting all around was pretty good in them. But just
apart from
first
Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan.
need to do that. It's just the whole. I mean, oh god.
Remember how they were pretending that he weren't Khan for so long? It's like he's gonna be Khan.
Yeah,
You stupid. Don't be stupid. We know he's gonna be Khan.
Oh, so yes.
Idiots.
So we had the dark days, then we had the J.J. Abrams days, which were a different shade of dark. But then we've come to this point now where now we're in the world of streaming services. Star Trek's kind of come really relevant again. So
Right. I love Discovery before anything gets said, because I know Stig doesn't. I love Discovery.
I've seen the first 2 seasons of Discovery. I really like the first season. I think the second season drops off a lot. I haven't seen the new stuff.
I have. I love it.
But I like that they did something different with it. My only issue with the way Star Treks are going right now, apart from one, which I'll get onto in a second, is that they are too single character focused. So you have Discovery and Picard. I mean Picard for obvious reasons, but it's like you're seeing the story through one character rather than seeing these stories through the crew, you know? But that's just stylistic choice. But Discovery, on balance, is fine. I like it.
I think Michael Burnham's one of the best characters they've ever produced.
Yeah, I like Michael Burnham. She's good. The first season of Picard I thought was excellent. I know Stig's opinion on the second season. I've just watched the first episode this week, and it's rough. It's really fucking rough.
Stig don't like new Star Trek, that boy. He don't like it.
But you see, this is the point where Paramount and CBS, they are doing interesting things, because then you get Star Trek Lower Decks, which is legitimately one of the best things that's ever been made.
Good.
It's really good.
And they're being clever. So with Lower Decks, they're taking the kind of the weird, kind of irreverent sort of Simpsons Family Guy approach to it, making it an animation, making it cheeky, making it rude, and taking the piss out of itself. And it works so well, but it's canon. It adds to the Star Trek story, you know? And you have new series come out. So you've got Prodigy, which comes out, which I can't remember, is Prodigy the one that's aimed at children? Yeah, that's the one on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And then you've got Strange New Worlds, which is more of a anime kind of thing.
No, Strange New Worlds is live action.
Oh, is it live action?
Live
I thought
action,
this was the anime one.
So, my brother asked me if I'd started watching this yet, and I said no, because I've not really liked the new live action Star Trek. I said, what is it? Anything like Discovery? And he says, nothing like that. It is genuinely kind of back to basic Star Trek.
I didn't even realize it was out yet.
Yes, so it piqued my interest. Well,
so first
Paramount.
Yeah, premiered May the 5th.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to give this a go, because if it's a bit more next generation,
you're too hard on Discovery, mate. I think it's fantastic.
No, I think it's shite.
It's fine. He's allowed to think it's shite. It's his opinion. The interesting.
I like the original TV series.
You were there.
The executive producer of this Strange New Worlds one is Gene Roddenberry's son, Eugene Roddenberry.
Eugene Roddenberry. Of course, that's what they called him. Of course.
Just looking at this now, because I haven't seen anything on Strange New Worlds really, because I thought it was an anime thing. I didn't realize it was a live action one. It's I mean, Christopher Pike is the captain, so I'm not sure.
Captain Pike was in Discovery as well.
Well, Captain Pike was the original Enterprise captain before Kirk was.
Yeah, he was. He's brilliant in Discovery.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is it's going back around the same storyline. So what I like is the new stuff. So that's what I really like.
Is it Anson Mount that's playing Pike?
Yes,
again. Oh, I love him.
Yeah. Really? So, but yeah, I like the new stuff. I like the way that like Lower Decks and Prodigy are going to be taking it, where you get it more accessible to more people. Like having a animated comedy version of this very serious, very important sci-fi show works for me. I think it's such a good move. So, yeah, that's me talking long enough about it. I love Star Trek. I'm a fucking nerd.
Live long and prosper.
Star Trek's amazing.
It's so good. I need something to pull me back into this modern stuff. But Lower Decks is great, but it's not the same as, you know what I mean? It's a completely different thing in its own right, and it's really good. But it's but it's not like the Next Generation Deep Space Nine style Star Trek that I want.
I like Discovery, but it's no DS9. Do you know what I mean? I'm not stupid.
Yeah, watch The Expanse.
Expanse is nothing like Star Trek.
Expanse is not Star Trek.
No,
it's nothing like it.
It's very good.
It's very good. It's fantastic.
It's in space.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's going
That's the only. It's nothing like it at all.
Oodles, tell us about your long-running franchise.
Well, because I'm a jock, I'm bringing a jock topic. As we all know, the jock of
Football,
the
it's a long-running franchise.
Football, yeah, it's been going since the 1800s. Now,
It's a funny old game.
the beautiful game. A franchise spanning 45 years. A franchise that is near and dear to my heart. I remember watching the first film in the franchise at about 10 years old, decades after it was released, going in completely blind and straight away being enraptured by its lead cast. This multi-Oscar-winning franchise has its ups and downs. Oh, matron. It has its ups and downs, like many franchises before and after it. But what all 9 films have is something a lot of franchises in its category lack, and that's heart and the will to push yourself further than you could possibly imagine. With a fantastic soundtrack and rare distinction of its modern iterations being some of the best ones they've done.
I know where you're going.
Yes, listener, I am talking about one of my favourite movie franchises of all time, Rocky!
Fast and
Yes, Rocky.
I wasn't where I thought you were going.
Where do you think I were going?
When you said the modern iterations are some of the best recently, I thought you were going Planet of the Apes.
No, but that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Rocky's also great though.
I fucking love Rocky, and I know some people haven't seen Rocky, and it's like, why? And they go, I don't like sports films. It's not really a sport film. That's what it's a human film about human things. And so
I mean, I
what
haven't
I've
seen it
done
just because
here,
I don't care.
It's a good film. Just watch a film because it's good.
it's just good. Yeah, I think the first one, I'm going to talk about that now. I think it's probably the most important one. So Rocky released in 1976, written by Sylvester Stallone, starring Sylvester Stallone, Burt Young, Talia Shire, Burgess Meredith, and the incredible Carl Weathers. Already, that's a cast that make you think, yes, please. So, it's a story about the Italian stallion Rocky Balboa and his unlikely ascent to the heavyweight boxing title match against the reigning champion Apollo Creed. Whew, it's a critical darling, earning multiple Oscars and accolades, which rags to riches classic sporting tale, less emphasis on the sporting. So, you guys, most of you have seen Rocky 1. You can't come away from that film feeling anything less than uplifted.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It's so, you've seen it, haven't you, Candy?
Of course.
Are you into boxing?
Not so much.
No.
Surprisingly, no.
Neither am I. It's there's something about it works with Stallone's, how he speaks and how he delivers. It works that he's a nearly retired boxer at this point, isn't he? Not even semi-pro, is he? He's just an amateur boxer.
Mm.
And he was one of the fall guys. He used to take a tumble in matches and stuff, didn't he? To win a bit of money and stuff. And he was a debt collector, and he bounced his squash ball around, and he lived in the mean streets of Philadelphia. And somehow, I'll not spoil why for some people, he gets to fight the reigning champion, the charismatic and uber cool Apollo Creed. And
I could be wrong, but I don't think there's actually an awful lot of boxing in the movie.
This
Overall,
one full match. This is one full match. That's it. There's a
So
few
the rest of
bouts
the
in the
movie
beginning.
is about
Yeah.
the characters.
And the fact is, he was only picked to fight him because Apollo Creed liked his name, the Italian Stallion. He liked it, didn't he? So that's the only reason he got through. And it's about going the distance. Now I am going to get into the spot because it kind of does need spoiling. Gadget, if you're that, I don't think you're bothered.
Nope, don't care.
Rocky 1, the main thing is he doesn't win. He doesn't win. But guess what? He doesn't lose, does he? That's the main thing. He went the distance, and it went to a decision, didn't it? And he went the full 12 rounds. I think it is in boxing, isn't it? 12 rounds. I don't really know boxing, but he went the full.
I think in the big heavyweight
then. He's
fights,
more
I think
back
it's
then,
12.
15 maybe at most. I don't know, but he went the full distance, and that's what it is. And the very last scene is him, just
He's happy.
He's
lost,
happy.
but he's happy. Yeah.
He's lost in it, and you never got that in films back then. It was always the main guy wins, and there's just something special about it. And then Rocky 2 comes along. And by the way, I was watching an interview with Stallone about this from about 5 or 6 years ago, and he was saying if it was up to him, and I know a lot of it was up to him, he would have named these other things, not Rocky 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you what he wanted the first one to be called. He wanted it to be called Going the Distance, which I like that.
That works.
I like
Makes
that.
sense, yeah.
I like that.
Well, that
So
reveals
Rocky
the ending.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
ruins
that's why they didn't do it. So Rocky 2, which released in 1979, which he wanted to call The Rematch, which explains exactly what happens in that film again. So he gets another stab. He gets another stab at the time. And it's funny, Rocky 2, because he's earning money now, isn't he? He gets a suit. He puts some sunglasses on. He's got a big house. It's nice, Rocky 2. A lot of people rag on Rocky 2, but I think it's a nice film.
Oh, I love it.
And he wins. He wins. He does it in the end. Fantastic. Then we get probably one of the more famous ones, Rocky 3. He wanted to call this one The Eye of the Tiger, which that's where the song comes from. So 1982, that one. The first one that they brought out, like a mega celebrity at the time, it was Mr. T playing Clubber Lang. And he was terrifying in this. He somehow managed to make himself look even bigger than he looked in the A-Team. He was fucking huge.
He was sort of a Tyson, wasn't he?
Yes,
Sort of
yeah, he was like
a
Mike
Mike
Tyson.
Tyson type boxer.
And Rocky had to do some weird things, like he got trained by his old arch nemesis Apollo Creed to get the Eye of the Tiger, which meant he dropped a weight class and he had to outpace Clubber Lang. He didn't even go the distance with this one, did he? He just won because he tired him out. And I really like Rocky 3 for that. Rocky 4 is the one that splits opinions. So in 1985, there was a Cold War going on in the real world. So what did they decide to do? Make a Cold War in the boxing arena. So he wanted to call this one Two Worlds Collide, which, again, on the nose, isn't it? So this one stars Ivan Drago. Dolph Lundgren, friend of the show, as Ivan Drago, the beast from the East, the Red Machine, alluded to in the film that he was absolutely souped up on steroids, isn't he? The Russian, Soviet champion. Now, a lot of tragedies happen in this film, don't they? We lose people. We lose Apollo and stuff like that. And this is a bit of a revenge film. And also, somehow, hands across the ocean. At the end, the Russians are cheering for Rocky. It's fucking weird.
It's a full-on America, fuck yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
because of the time.
It does divide people, but I really love its schlick and daftness
Banging
in Rocky
well.
4.
Burning Heart by
right.
Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. Really good montage as well, running up and down the mountains and stuff. And then Rocky 5 came out.
Next.
So, yeah. Rocky, do you know what he wanted to call Rocky 5? Go for it. That's what he wanted to call it, Go for it. Which,
'Sounds like a mobile game.
1990, yeah. Rocky 5, where Rocky's on his way out. He really took a beating, didn't he, from Ivan Drago? It starts directly after 4, doesn't it? He says, if you box again, your eye's coming out and stuff like that. You're going to have irreparable brain damage. So Rocky starts becoming a trainer for Tommy Morrison's character, Tommy Gunn, who was a real boxer at the time. And it all goes pear-shaped, doesn't it? And we all know it's just a shit film. I really don't like Rocky 5 at all. There's not that, apart from I like the beginning.
No,
where
anyone
it's
that likes it, to be honest.
It's
Yeah,
the
I like
weakest, easily the weakest out of all of the
Yeah,
franchise.
it is. I like the beginning half an hour where it shows the aftermath of Rocky 4, and that's about it, really. Then we had to wait, 16 years for Rocky Balboa, the epilogue to Rocky's Tale, or so we thought. That came out in 2006. He wanted to call this one "It Ain't Over Till It's Over," which is just
I'm glad there's someone at the studio
ridiculous.
that's not allowing him to name films.
I know, I know. He stopped writing them after 2. Do you know what I mean? Because he just probably got crazy.
You might as well call it Over Till the Fat Lady Sings or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, Rocky Balboa is a weird one because it's about how Rocky owns his own restaurant. He's lost all his money, hasn't he? And his love and wife, Adrian's passed away, which she passed away in real life, didn't she, before this as well? And it's how he's done with his past. He's happy with his restaurant and stuff, and he's just having a life. And then he watches something on telly. It's like a video game, isn't it? Where Rocky's fighting.
It's a simulation, like on ESPN.
Yeah.
They're basically saying, what happens if you took one of the greatest from this era and put it up
Yeah.
against the current world champion or one of the greatest from this era?
And they say that Rocky could still go at the distance.
Yeah, and the simulation, as a simulation, Like I think showing Rocky.
So what do they
winning.
do? Yeah. What do they do? They get him to fight. He's 60 years old, and they get him to fight this young 30-year-old heavyweight, and
Would never be sanctioned ever.
never be sanctioned.
Just
It's
a correction, Talia Shire still hasn't retired yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
died
still
in
going.
real life.
No.
Well, God bless her. She's doing good work. So not much to write home about with Rocky Balboa. There's some nice heartwarming moments, isn't there? You get to see Rocky's son. It's all right.
I
It's
think
not
it's
terrible.
Really good. I think it's like a return to the same kind of
Yeah.
heart that the first one had, and the boxing.
It feels
match,
more like the first one.
it's the best
Yeah.
boxing match of this. Like
It is because it's
the
the one
most-
where they actually punched each other.
they actually fought in front of a real crowd and actually punched. Actually, yeah, had an actual boxing match. So
Like Stallone's still got the scar above his eye where he fucking cut his eye open and stuff. It's the real.
It's real, yeah.
It's the real deal, that one. It is a good film, especially after 5. Fucking hell. And then we had to wait many years again for one of my favourites, Creed. Now,
Excellent.
some call it a spin-off, but it's canonically the next one in line. So, Michael B. Jordan looks fucking fantastic in this film. My God. He put some timber on, didn't he, and turned it into muscle. Wow. He plays Apollo Creed's son, Adonis Creed, and he's living under... doesn't he pretend he's not his dad's son at the beginning and stuff like that? He's trying to pretend that he's...
I think he's
Wants
trying
to make his own
name,
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more than a name. They wanted to call this one, and I'm glad they didn't. Your legacy is more than your name.
Oh my God.
That can't be true.
Yeah, these are all true. I will link you
2
to
tickets
the
to your
interview.
legacy is more than your name, please.
And
So
he's
I'm
fighting a real
Celine Dion.
boxer. He's fighting a real boxer on this, pretty Ricky Conlon, and again, choreography on this one's spellbinding. And we've got Tessa Thompson in there as well as it's really good, and it's slick, and it's
Shame about Tony Bellew, though. Oof.
yeah, it really
Blue
is,
shite.
mate. Yeah, it really is. And then we got Creed 2, which is a bit fan fiction-y, but I
Seen this
still
one.
really, really like it.
It's the only one I've not
It's
seen.
really good.
Yeah, I've not seen
It's
it. Yet.
2018. So, do you know the plot? Because I'm going to say it a little bit. I won't reveal the end.
Yes, I know.
So-
I don't know what happens in the film though.
So, obviously, Adonis Creed is now up and coming. He's one of the best of the best. And for some reason, they want him to fight Ivan Drago's son, Victor Drago, played by Florian Montanu. And that man is a fucking beast. And in real life, they wouldn't have sanctioned this either, because fucking hell. He's like super, super heavyweight. He's ridiculous. They wanted to call this film The Legend Becomes Stronger.
Oh my word.
God.
Yeah. And all the way through these Creed ones, we've got Rocky Balboa in there as the corner man and the trainer and stuff. And the Creed films are really good because they're slick as fuck. They're fantastic films. It's beautiful to watch. The cinematography, the choreography is fantastic. And luckily, the franchise is not over there, because Creed 3 is out next year with the tagline, have faith. So I think he's fighting George Michael's ghost in this one. Which,
Trouble
I
Lane
think it might
Sissy
be out
Girls.
this year, actually.
you what, sorry?
I think it might be out this year.
Oh, I looked on IMDb, it said 2023. But regardless, I really like the Creed films, and I hope this one... I hope it's a nice little trilogy for it, and they should cap it off there. But yeah, the Rocky franchise, man, it's just... I don't know, there's something about it that's always stuck with me. I can watch 5 and appreciate tiny, tiny, tiny bits of it, but pound for pound, and that's a boxing term, I think it's a fantastic franchise. I'm 45 years old, and it's still going with the same chronology of story, and you don't see
You
it
don't
done
have to
like
like
this, do you?
boxing to enjoy the movie. Simple as that.
No, you don't. It's a human tale about climbing higher. That's what it is. And going above your weight class. And I just fucking love Rocky. And Gadget, you need to see. I know I have not sold this to you because I'm not good at selling anything.
Haven't
to
in the
anybody,
slightest. Like, I'm sure they're fine films. I'm just not interested in them.
They're not fine films. Some are Oscar-winning films, mate. The films that you have to see before you die.
Some of them have
Depending on-
robots in.
genuinely
Yeah, Rocky
depicted
Four's
on-
got a robot wife in it.
Edited out now.
Yeah, that's not there
Still on-
anymore, is it?
still on-
Oh,
still on director's cut.
I love you, Paulie.
Oh, that was the best bit.
But depending
It's
on
so
your
good.
viewpoint of what you think is Stallone, you'd be very impressed in his acting in at least
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and obviously the later ones. Shows he's a very good actor.
You see in that man, that heavyweight boxing frame, crying his eyes out and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely putting his all into everything. And it's even the first one, like when he cuts his eye and you gotta cut me, it's brutal, isn't it? Because he can't see out with his eye. It's so fucking, I love him. And they're my picks.
Excellent. Biggie, what about you?
So for me, I wanted to go to a classic series, Street Fighter. So I'm just literally going to cover the main 5 games.
Didn't you write the film for that, the new one?
I did. Coming out in 2023. But
Can't wait.
dating back to 1987, the very first unveiling of the upright cabinet in, believe it or not, funny enough, a boxing gym in Philadelphia, which had the pneumatic punch pads, which became famous for the game Street Fighter. It was a new 2D fighting game that was actually inspired by the boss battles in Kung Fu Master, a previous arcade hit. It was created by, forgive me if I get these names wrong, Takashi Nishiyama and Hiroshi Matsumoto. Whilst it was a fairly successful launch, Capcom had to eventually pull the punch pad gimmick because they hadn't have an experience in actually making these cabinets. So it was a new thing for them to do, and they had to replace it with the now infamous 6-button layout, as far too many people were injuring their hands. Capcom were worried about being sued. And also due to the programming limitations and budgets, the game was not exactly the success that were expected in the end. But feedback was that the new button layout was a hit as the arcades went further around the countries. And I actually came across this game in a travelling fair and with the punch pads. And it was
Were you
incredible
travelling
to
with
watch
the
people.
fair?
No.
I want to know that story.
But that was my introduction to Street Fighter. And it's a really weird introduction because there was something about that game. It wasn't particularly good to play, and if you ever go and use an emulator now and try it out, it's really weird. It's not a very comfortable fighting game at all. But something has to begin somewhere, doesn't it? So then moving on from there, Street Fighter 2, which came out in 1991, the team that created the original Street Fighter were actually headhunted by SNK. So Capcom basically had to start all over again. And ended up bringing in Yoshiki Okamoto, began building a new team. And due to the popularity of Double Dragon back then, they were told to basically make something similar. So they came up with Final Fight, which was actually referred to at one point as Street Fighter 89, was born.
I love Final Fight.
Yeah, it's absolutely great brawler. But then after that, he wanted to go back and make Street Fighter 2. So hiring Akira Yatsuda, who provided the artwork for things like Forgotten Worlds, Final Fight, and obviously Street Fighter, was a key component because the lavish visuals in both the promo work and on the cabinet and in the game proved to be a massive hit. The music, of course, and sound by Yoko Shimomura went on to create the unforgettable music and sound for Street Fighter 2. And everybody knows that the Guile theme works with everything, right?
Sing it.
Oh, yeah. I love that game so much.
But yeah, when it was requested to make the pulling off the special moves a little easier than the original Street Fighter, it actually created a bug where now the familiar combos were then discovered where various moves could be linked together for devastating effects. So that was really a glitch. Not many people realise that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And obviously kept it in because everyone was a fan of it. There was no immediate plans for follow-ups to Street Fighter, but after riding a wave of what became famous game-breaking Guile bugs, which included something along the lines that you could crash the machine or you could throw people from anywhere around the fighting arena with Guile, so you weren't even close to them. And then there were counterfeit copies that were spread all over the market, so you could go into arcades and there's all these really weird variations of Street Fighter. So Capcom went on to launch the Champion Edition, which allowed you to play as the 4 bosses, and then allowed 2 players to fight as the same character against each other. And once again, more illegal hacked copies came out with weird special moves, which were like floating fireballs going up in different directions.
Man knows he's hacked
like
copies.
He's a hacker.
No, not me. But they had to very quickly release an official sped up version, which then became known as Turbo Edition. And of course, this then became famous as the home market sales went through the roof, as both Nintendo and Sega went on to enjoy great success on their consoles. I was a massive fan of Street Fighter 2. I had it on my SNES, and a lot of people were saying that sometimes the Mega Drive was the better version. But
it had better music on the Mega Drive version, but I like the SNES's control layout.
Yes.
I think I've had this game on everything since it first came out.
I think it's the pinnacle of the series, especially the World Warriors one, where you've got everyone.
I mean, this series is now 35 years old. But like you say, there's been collections here, there, and everywhere. I got particularly stoned one night with my friend Jay up in London.
Not like you, that.
And we were playing loads of battles, basically as Ryu and Ken. And it went on for hours. I think we lost track of time. And at one point, I hallucinated and had these massive sprites in front of me, like it was 10 foot tall.
What were you smoking?
The characters. It's just weird. Just went a bit too far. And it was incredible watching that fight.
That was like sweet, a fight. Sweet Bubba Kush.
Oh, yeah. So after that, there was a massive gap where there was restructuring at Capcom and lots of delays and all sorts of projects going off in different directions. So Street Fighter 3 didn't come out until 1997. And interestingly enough, well, most of the other games were going down the 3D route. You had things like Tekken, Virtua Fighter, stuff like that were coming out. Capcom delivered a 2D game with a really highly detailed sort of art animation, which a lot of people said was probably the best ever to this day. And do you know what? I never got into 3. I love didn't click
3.
with me.
Love it. I don't want you to gloss over Street Fighter the movie, the game, though.
Oh, God. Let's gloss over that.
Please don't gloss over that.
I'm not talking about them at all. The development team made some subtle changes to the mechanics, added a parry system.
That's what I liked about
the roster was almost completely wiped away. You only were left with Ryu and Ken.
Ryan and Kenneth.
The new generation, they basically ended up with, I think it was 10 new characters. I just don't think they gelled with people. They just didn't have that. They looked interesting, don't get me wrong. I thought the artwork was fantastic for the characters. But for me, it never clicked with me at all.
Is that the first one that you got Cody on it? Because I liked Cody.
Yes.
I think it was, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I liked it.
Before that, you had, or maybe not, because you had the Street Fighter Alpha games as well.
Oh, maybe it's Alpha he came in, yeah.
I liked Cody. It might be Alpha. But yeah, despite the slow start with Street Fighter 3, they did another tweak here and there and came up with Second Impact. But apparently a fan favourite, Third Strike is the version to have.
Oh, it's so good.
That is apparently one of the best Street Fighter games ever invented. The fighting, the
so good,
tweaks they made to the gameplay is apparently up there with the best, but I actually never got into it.
I think it was PlayStation 1 I had that on. I think it is. Not sure. Fucking
I'm not quite remember. But again, it's in all the compilations if you ever want to go back and try it. But again, another massive gap. I think with the failure, basically, of Street Fighter 3, 4 didn't come out till 2008. But this took an incredible direction because, again, it did this weird combination of 3D backdrops with 2D playing, but with camera views that switched in a 3D environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for the specials, it just like zoom in, didn't it?
Yeah.
It basically reinvented the fighting game again because
2.5D.
2.5D and everything has done it since. Mortal Kombat has done it.
Yep,
and
everything's done it.
There's another fighting game which I think Tekken did a version of it with Street Fighter as well. Street Fighter X Tekken.
Yeah.
And the new Killer Instinct's like that as well, isn't it? 2.5.
All the Marvel Capcom games.
Injustice.
Yeah, Injustice.
It kind of realised that the 3D fighting that we got between Street Fighter 3 and 4 with Tekken is it works. I don't know. It works for Tekken, but everything else is
Street Fighter X3 was that weird 3D model.
Yeah, like
Street
all
Fighter.
the 3D Mortal Kombat games are shit.
Oh, they're so bad.
And yet,
Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
since Street Fighter 4 came out, and they've gone, actually, we should go back to that, just 2D kind of look with just
That's what
nice
they've
looking
done.
3D
They
graphics.
went back to that. That sort of keep it as close to Street Fighter 2
Side-scroller.
from that. Yeah.
They did the beautiful thing as well for veterans that they kept the moves the same. You know what I mean? High punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, and all the combos were the same turns of
The animations are different. There are
D-pad.
some slightly different, heavier kicks, the animation, but the rule is still the same.
You can hold the kick, can't you? You can hold it in for a bit longer on this one and like stun the enemy and stuff like that.
The pre-fight intros, the cinematic dialogue between the characters, like you say, that the focus attacks and
I loved 4. 4 was so
the control.
good.
The 4 is just immense, and again, it went through variations until it came out with.
Do you remember
Ultra
Did you
version.
ever play 4 on the iPhone? Fucking hell, that was so good. Part on the iPhone.
Right.
It had a dedicated button just to do all the specials.
Yeah, I did.
So fucking good.
The disappointing thing about 4 is the last bad guy is shit.
Is it that
Oh, my
Abel?
God.
Not Abel. What's it called? That fucking stupid
I
thing,
don't know.
isn't it? That.
I only took him out with floor sweeps because he used to kill me all the time. Fucking.
Yeah, that big
forgot
guy,
his
that
name.
big tall guy, wasn't it? That
Big
tall.
Is he big and blue? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, big and blue. Yeah, like
He was a
something-
real skanky character.
Yeah, he was shit anyway.
Yeah.
Seth, he was called.
Seth.
Seth.
That's it.
Yes, wanker. Kill him with fire. It's crazy to think that the original arcade came out with 17 players and he ended up with 44 in the Ultra version.
Yeah.
But I think the only disappointing thing that I think that I mentioned again before about Street Fighter series is all the DLC packs and costume packs.
They only
All
started
might-
doing that on 4. You know what I mean? It's not a truck.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see what they charge
obviously,
for that.
you had to buy a new version, didn't you? You had to buy a complete new game for like the World Warriors, and then like with 3, you had to buy EX Alpha 3. You had to buy all these like iterations. They're all really the same game fundamentally, but there was something, especially with the Alpha games as well. There was some, I don't know, there was a draw for me to want to buy them because there was enough to get you going. Especially, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get onto 5, but fucking hell, that launched abysmally. There was nothing on it.
Yeah, and finally Street Fighter 5, which was more of the same really of 4. There wasn't a massive difference, to be perfectly honest. But it was just the bare bones of a fighting game.
It didn't have an arcade mode at first.
Nope. And then all it wanted you to do was to get your fight money to unlock everything. And again, that's similar to that Gran Turismo thing where you had to earn so much money to buy like one character. It's just insane. Very disappointed. It had bugs. It was supposed to be PlayStation 4 exclusive when it came out. It was going to be the game for fighting, for esports, but it had so many latency issues. It wasn't
a lot
good.
better now.
It's fine now. It's fine now.
Everyone plays
it
4,
is what
though,
it
don't
is
they?
now.
All the
Yeah, I still play.
Yeah.
yeah.
But going back to what you said today earlier about 6 just looking something different. I like the look of the fighting. It looks great. There's this weird hub thing that they've got going on. So I don't know what direction.
Big
it's quite
chunky
going.
Ryan.
Yeah, be interesting to see. But I've always loved this game. I've always tampered with it. I'm an okay player. I'm not professional by any means. And like you said before, people button mash, and it's very frustrating. I like it when 2 people are trying to beat each other using the skills of the game and not button mashing it. And that's where the fun and the passion comes from these games. But
I'm going to ask the question that all the listeners are wanting to know right now. This is the big question. I don't think I need to ask Gadget this because I don't think he cares for Street Fighter. But who's everyone's main? Ken. But you, Stig?
Ken and Ryu, because they're too easiest to master.
I'm a Vega guy.
Or
Always have been.
occasionally E-Honda.
I knew you would be. For some reason, I knew you'd be Vega.
Love Vega. I love him. Wah, just flipping about on the walls. Yeah. What about you, Candy?
It's a Blanca, the green guy.
Of course you're Blanca.
Yeah,
Have you,
Blanca.
have you played
You
it?
just put
Gadget?
a bash
Have you
in
played
so he
Street
just-
Fighter?
Does the electrical move.
Oh, yeah.
I have played it. I'm trying to remember the name of the character who I used to play the most as, but what was she called?
Ken Cammy?
Chun-Li?
No, Jury.
Oh, yeah,
true,
one of the newer
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got Street Fighter 5 on Steam. I played it for a few months. I enjoyed it until I got to the point where it's just like, oh, you want me to fucking pay for everything?
Yeah.
I've just spent like 20
Do you want
quid
to
on
see Ken in a red costume with bleach blonde hair? That's $1.99, guys.
I will say my favourite bit about Street Fighter 5. I don't really get on with fighting games that much, but like I said, I enjoy playing Street Fighter 5. Nothing against it.
Yeah.
Fucking love the music and the menus.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucking metal. Probably
so
good.
Loved it.
out of curiosity, have you got any ideas how many games were released for Street Fighter?
17,000.
I was going to go with 10.
At a guess, I want to say 19.
24. Don't know.
Indeed.
There's so many variations of it. It's going to be stupid.
I think
I
there's
was
19.
going to say 10.
Here we go. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Champion Edition, Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter the Movie, Street Fighter 2 Alpha 2, Street Fighter X, X-Men vs Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter X Plus, Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, Street Fighter X2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Street Fighter X2, Street Fighter X3, Hyper Street Fighter 2 the Anniversary Edition, Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, Street Fighter Alpha Anthology, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max, Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, Street Fighter X Tekken, Street Fighter X Mega Man, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challengers, Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, All Characters Pack, Street Fighter 5 Capcom Fighting Collection, and finally in 23 Street Fighter 6. That totals 41.
I thought you said you couldn't rap.
And breathe, Biggie.
41 games.
I'm putting
It's a few more than 10.
Insane.
I'm putting the Curb Your Enthusiasm music under that, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
Don't forget Street Fighter.
41 versions. My God.
Don't forget Street Fighter 9 EX Turbo Plus by Biggie Productions.
Yeah, that film. That's coming
Hell
out.
yes.
Actually, Biggie, you missed it. You missed one. It's 42 because there's a one called Street Fighter 2010 that you didn't bring up.
Oh,
It's a
he's rubbish.
side-scrolling
Street Fighter
action.
2010.
It's a platforming game, but it is a Street Fighter game.
Oh,
There
I
you
missed
go.
that one. There you go. 42.
Wasn't there
It's
some
insane though, isn't
Chun-Li spin-offs as well?
Probably.
Yeah.
There was a
Anyway.
Chun-Li film, wasn't there?
Yeah. Right, Candy, round us off.
Yeah, I really struggled with that. Even after you've been recording, I've been kind of swinging around about which one I'm going to do. I've been thinking about either. Do you know what? After Oodles, you mentioned X-Files. I was like, why the fuck didn't I choose that? But I'm
No.
I'm going to go with Frasier.
Oh,
That's
baby, I hear the blues are calling. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah, I was originally going to go with something completely different. I was going to go with Family Guy, and then I realised, actually, it's kind of gone down the toilet slightly recently, so bear with me.
You're still going Family Guy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck, who's watching that?
Idiots.
Me last night, which is
even
what
I
made me
didn't
think
know
of
that.
it. Yeah, oh, yeah, it's still going. It's been cancelled twice, so it ain't going nowhere, I don't think. But yeah, so bear with me because my notes are slightly all over the place. The good news is it'll be over soon. So Frasier was broadcast for 11 seasons from 93 onwards, and apparently there's a new series in production.
Yeah.
That's coming out. Well, it says this year. I find that hard to believe because I haven't seen anything about it, but who knows?
I thought it was supposed to be like back end of this year, like December.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but surely we would have seen something for it. Who knows? Anyway,
Oh.
so Frasier was a spin-off from the sitcom Cheers, which ran from 82, which saw Kelsey Grammer playing the character of Frasier for a total of 20 years in the end. Frasier itself continues the story of psychiatrist Frasier Crane, who returns to his hometown of Seattle to become a radio host. Probably these days he'd be a podcast. He'd do a podcast, wouldn't he? He'd be one of us.
That's what he better be a podcast on this new Frasier.
Oh, I wonder if he will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, you're listening to Cranecast.
Green cast. Anyway, he reconnects with his father Martin and his younger brother Niles, who's a fellow psychiatrist. He's also joined by Daphne, Martin's living caregiver, and Ross, who's the radio show producer. It was critically acclaimed at the time. That the cast in the series itself won 37 Primetime Emmy Awards.
It's way better than Cheers.
Way better than Cheers. I can't watch Cheers. Even I know it's old.
I like Cheers. I like it when Woody Harrelson comes in. Before that, I didn't like it.
I didn't know there was even a season without him. I thought he was always in it.
Yeah, I think it's first season.
Yeah, anyway, it's not that great. Not for me. So, anyway, critically acclaimed, as I said. It's just kind of peak 90s sitcom without the cringe of Friends. And it still holds up today, I think. And the main appeal of the show was the interaction between the dad, Frasier, and Niles. Although it always kind of struck me a bit odd how out of touch Frasier and Niles were when they had a ex-cop dad that, beer drinking ex-cop dad, and Frasier was always at the Cheers bar, so kind of going a bit snooty for no apparent reason.
It was written in because they identified much more with their mother, who was kind of snooty and slightly high society.
Right.
He does mention that quite a few times in the show. He's just like your mom.
The whole run of the show for both Frasier and Niles is just mummy issues.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. But it strikes a really nice balance between physical and intellectual comedy. It was by no means high class entertainment, even though it kind of tried to sell itself that way, I think. But it was definitely more kind of quippy and sharp than something like Friends. And as a side note, the reason I keep going back to Friends is it's just because it's a show that kind of ran around the same time for about the same length of time. I don't have anything against Friends. I'm just saying.
You should.
I know I should, but no, it's fine. But I think what's also often forgotten about is the physical humour to it as well, especially David Hyde Pierce, who plays Niles. I remember
he's such a clown.
Yeah, I remember a few I think there was a couple of scenes actually that just stood out. And it was just him by himself, no dialogue whatsoever, and he would hold like a 5 to 10 minute scene of just like a series of catastrophes, and it was just absolutely brilliant.
There's the sequence of him getting ready for a date. There's no dialogue whatsoever. It's the cold open. There's no context to the episode. You just see him watch him. He starts ironing his pants. He sees that the threads come off, so he gets a needle. He pricks himself. He falls over. The iron's on the pants. That starts to catch fire. He picks up, and it just goes on. And it's about 3 minutes.
That's the episode that won the Emmy as well.
It is, yeah. It's like 3 minutes of silence, and it's so funny.
There's that one Niall moment as well where he's struggling to get in the elevator with the groceries.
Yeah.
Like poking the elevator with his nose, dropping. Yeah. Just, it shows how, he needs a woman in his life, and that's why his wife's so strong in comparison to his character.
They never show her, do they, Maris? Because I think they'd intended to cast her originally, because the first season they just sort of talked about her, and they painted such a picture of this like god-awful woman. She apparently like weighed about 60 pounds or something, about 5'11", and they just couldn't.
Well, they go into such flowery language with it, like the idea that she is such wayfish frame, she doesn't leave footprints in the snow. Like,
yeah,
and it just
and that she can always creep up behind Niles without him even knowing she's there and stuff like that.
A woman of fragile constitution, but somehow wields the sword of Damocles over his head. It's so funny. And I think
we all know somebody like that, though.
Well, yeah, but I think it's one of those things that as they got in like the second season, thought we should probably cast Maris, and they're like, actually, no, this is really funny. We can just be more outlandish with her.
Yeah, the character's bigger than the actual character.
And when Maris is eventually written out of the show, like in the 8th season, because she becomes a tax avoiding felon, and like
it's when
Niles
pushing
smuggle her over
Niles
the
and
border
Daphne
into Canada.
they push Niles and Daphne more as well, don't they?
Oh, Niles and Daphne are together by that point, but yeah,
are they? Yeah, they are, aren't they?
So funny.
And that was such a nice like story build as well, like will they, won't they, between Daphne and Niles. And when it finally happens, and it doesn't all end up sort of a bed of roses for them, like they have actual like problems in their marriage and stuff, and it really goes into it how you can be after this person and it finally works out, and yet things just aren't as good as they might seem they would be. And I like that they didn't end the series with them getting together. It kind of finished. It kind of happened about halfway through. Like it was Daphne left her wedding, didn't she? Like she left her. Yes. She was getting married and left him at the altar, and that didn't finish there either. Like he came back to sue her in the following series. But it's just a really kind of heartwarming show and just drama free. And I hope this new season that's coming out, I hope it does it justice. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage the dynamic. What with Martin having been such a integral part of it. Now the actor John Mahoney, he's sadly passed away.
No, they could do something quite clever. Like Kelsey Grammer is that age now. They could make him the Martin type character. You never know. He might have a son.
So he does have a son.
Like I was saying, an older son that's now.
He's got Frederick.
Frasier type.
Yeah, he's got Frederick.
Yeah, exactly.
Frederick, that's it.
The thing is that David Hyde Pierce and Bevan Neurath, who played Niles and Lilith, Kelsey Grammer hasn't actually spoken to them about it, so I don't think they would be involved in it. So you're not going to get Niles, you're not going to get Lilith. So I think that makes it difficult because Frasier himself is a horrible character. He's a terrible person.
He's terrible.
And he's balanced out by the people around him. And like the interaction.
So selfish.
He's so selfish, but like Niles is clearly the best thing in the show in general. Like Niles and Martin steal most scenes that they're in.
Well, apparently he wasn't even supposed to have a particularly big role, I don't think, Niles.
No, and then supposed to be a walk-on.
It got such a good reception that he was written into it more. And just the three of them especially just bounce off each other perfectly. So a bit worrying about the next series then if they're not in it. But who knows?
Live in hope.
Live in hope, exactly.
Might be poignant. Might be
good. Poignant.
Mm.
But yeah, that's it for me. It was going to be Family Guy, but nah.
I'm glad you didn't go Family Guy because I wouldn't have had to say much. I like the first few seasons of Family Guy. And that's about it.
I remember when I dropped off Family Guy. Maybe around.
I still remember people getting tattoos of Brian when he died.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
Family Guy works better in small doses. If you watch too much of it, it's just like
It's fucking shit. It's no South Park. None of it is.
No. Excellent.
Yeah. Go.
Over to you, Oodles.
Thank you. That's good night from him and good night from him. Right. Yes, I want to know what our beloved listeners have for their choices. Have we got a bulging sack? Because I miss that sack. I miss it so much.
It's bulging. Throw it over to Oodles to throw it over to me. Excellent. Xenos has said, I think it has to be the Final Fantasy games and their spin-offs for me. I haven't played every installment of the series. I own 3 or 4 on the DS, and I've been playing 14 since about 2015. Tactics Advance 2, 4 Heroes of Light, which is arguably the best spin-off, and 14, plus the definitely spin-off franchise Bravely Default, Bravely Second, the sequel, and Bravely Default 2, not the sequel. Name your games properly! Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You need to name the games better.
I heard stories about Final Fantasy VII as a kid because a bunch of my friends played it during secondary school, but my parents refused to buy me any consoles, so I didn't have a chance to play any of them myself until they got me a Game Boy Advance. Bundled with a couple of games, including Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which immediately hooked me, leading me to pick up 3 and 4 when I eventually bought a DS and the remakes were released. Since then, I've been in and out of the series through other games listed up until I discovered Final Fantasy XIV would run on the laptop I'd gotten for university, and I've been resubbing it every couple of months to play through the new content, create fancy outfits, kick the crap out of various different groups' deities for gear upgrades, and, humble brag, save the world no less than 11 times along the way. He's fucking slacking that lad, isn't he? 11 times, is that all? Jesus Christ. Oodles
good game, 14.
Yeah, Oodles did that twice this morning.
Yeah. It's actually quite of his hours there of how many he's put in.
Oh, well, I'm getting to that.
How many?
I'm getting to that. I won't give any actual plot details here because it wouldn't be fair to spoil things for Oodles or anyone else who's playing through, but I can say this much. Final Fantasy XIV in particular has held together the best story of any game I've ever played. It's the only game that's managed to make me cry more than once, and I think there's been at least 8 separate times compared to Okami and Undertale only getting me once each. The director and lead composer are both working on Final Fantasy 16 now. Icons help you all if they manage to do it better because it's going to break people. And just to prove my real playtime counts, though this does not include time spent downloading patches and AFK within the game open. It does include time downloading patches. So he says a screenshot of his Steam library, 4,529 hours in the game.
Good lad.
Nice.
Good lad.
That's
like me in Dragon Quest 11.
That's more than a working year. I think it's more than a year, actually.
Good.
4529.
It's really good, 14. For Xenos, mainly only. I've just got to Heaven's Ward and it's kicking in. It's ramping up, baby. It's good.
Just under 189 days.
Okay, so we spent over 6 months in that game. Excellent. Sergeant Story has said, well, the Wheel of Time series, to be sure. Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, Doctor Who. I also want to add the Sword of Truth series, as well as the Harry Dresden series. And I probably should include Harry Potter, both the books and the movies. I'm probably not going to get a chance to go back and explain why these series are important to me, other than most of them were my first introduction to fantasy literature. Some I just really enjoy and have enjoyed for the last 30 years or so. Fair enough. Man likes his fantasy.
Yeah.
We know that much.
Nerd.
Well, speaking of nerds, Pete Beckett. For me, it's Street Fighter. The love affair started back when Street Fighter 2 Turbo was packed in with my SNES. It's a superb series, and while some games haven't lived up to my high expectations, brackets 5, I still get hyped for new character reveals, new iterations, and always watch the CPT events.
Oh, just very quickly, one thing I forgot to mention was that famous Daigo parry video, which I don't know
mate,
who
that makes me
has seen that
cry.
or who hasn't. But do you guys know about
It's
this?
so good.
It's
the most famous moment ever.
I've seen it, and I had. It's a 30-second video that someone had to spend 10 minutes explaining to me, so I was not the target audience for this.
Oh, it's so
it's
good.
just
It's the best
incredible.
Evo moment ever.
Just somebody being able to basically block and a million attacks at them all in one go with a slither of health.
And reverse it back.
Reverse it back and then take him out with a final. It's just incredible.
Forever
to
a
watch.
legend.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, so good.
The
Street Fighter.
The Neighborhood Rewatch podcast has said, our favourite long-running show is obviously Neighbours. It's just so ridiculously optimistic and unrealistic that you can't help but get lost in the escapism of it all and the dramas over the most trivial things. And as we all know in this world, everybody needs good neighbours.
Hang on, let me just unpack this, right? I don't read the feedback, as you all know. There's a podcast dedicated to the
rewatching Neighbours.
Australian television show Neighbours.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the one with the dog that had a dream, that one.
Yep.
Especially for you.
Kylie Minogue.
That one.
Jason Donovan.
What
She came
the
back
fuck?
for the finale, Kylie Minogue.
Has it ended?
Yeah, it's ended.
Yeah, it's been cancelled.
Recently, yeah.
Oh, they're not the village down or wherever they live. I've never watched the second of Neighbours. I just know about the dog.
I remember when it launched.
Neighbours loads.
And Home and Away.
Late 90s and early 2000s.
I know Home and Away, that's where we got Chris Hemsworth from, didn't we?
It is.
Did we?
It's where we got a lot
Worth
of
it.
beautiful actors from.
Worth it.
And Margot Robbie.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
sort of launched. I think Neighbours may have been before Home and Away, and I think Success launched Home and Away. But
Is it? I don't know if it's a myth. Maybe that podcast would tell me and I might subscribe. Is it bigger in Britain than it is in Australia?
Yes.
Sure it is, isn't it?
Yes,
It's like huge.
It got cancelled when Channel 5 stopped buying it.
Wow. That just shows you, doesn't it? I didn't even know we were on Channel 5. I thought it was a BBC thing.
No, Channel 5 have been running it for the last 10 years or so.
I've never watched a soap in my life. Not
some of
even
the plot points are
EastEnders
brilliant.
and
They're
Emmerdale
so
Farm or
funny.
anything. Never watched them.
Last up, Angry Kurt. He's saying, sorry if I'm too late. You're not. We got you in time. But my favourite is Grand Theft Auto. It's remarkable how high quality every game has
Never
been.
heard of it.
Everyone has their favourite, but each entry, even the 2D ones and the portable ones like Liberty City Stories and Chinatown Wars, have been great games at minimum or masterpieces. The
I
reveal
didn't put
of
much into them, so I didn't have anything to say about them.
The reveal of a new GTA game always gets my juices going, and we all know Kurt likes his juices. He says, everyone remembers the characters, and some classic missions and the radio stations are so good. I will say, however, there is one slight upon the franchise. It is something that happens in one game that is so bad it colours the franchise in my thought. And that is the remote control helicopter mission in Vice City.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
Fuck that mission.
Notoriously
Fucking
bad.
horrible.
I nearly
was
snapped my
painful.
PlayStation 2 controller in half playing that.
It's same as the missions in San Andreas with the little remote control planes. I hated that too.
Yeah, remote control stuff is shit.
Yeah, but no, just specifically that one in Vice City because you can't finish the game.
It's
without
awful.
It's not an optional
It's
mission.
awful.
I saw a TikTok the other day on how to complete the train mission without having to chase it.
What?
For all these years.
You just had to
Apparently-
catch a train, CJ.
Yeah, apparently, you can shoot the driver and it stops the train. Then you can just shoot the guy.
What? I'm going to play it. I'm going back. I'm going back.
That is the feedback for this week.
Thank you very much, everyone. As always, links to all our extracurricular activities are in our show notes and at modernescapism.co.uk. And please consider becoming a patron to help support our endeavour. And with it being the beginning of the month, I don't need to read that bit because that was from last week.
Still counts.
Who changed the teleprompter? So yeah, if you want to be a patron, it's good to do it now, isn't it? Because it is the beginning of the month rather than at the end of the month. But it's whatever floats your boat, guys. So next week, Biggie is taking the main topic and has decided to bring to the table hashtag was it needed. So basically, we're talking about things that was it needed? The Matrix 2 and 3 and 4. Was it needed? You get the gist. What was that Tomb Raider? Dark Resurrection or whatever it was called. Angel of Darkness. Was it needed?
Was that kebab last night needed? Who knows?
Was it needed?
Did it add to the lore? Did it add to the story? Was it needed? Did you think that it made sense? That were you happy that it's added to the franchise and whatnot? So.
And it can be positive or negative. We're not just necessarily going to be dunking on shit. Although I think we're going to be dunking on shit.
Yeah, we've had a good one. We've had a positive this week, so we might have a negative next week. So, for all our patrons, we'll meet you around the back in the green room. But for everyone else, this has been a podcast. Thank you very much and good night.
Bye.
Okay. Biggie, I'm going to count down from 4. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Biggie. Okay.
Yep.
4, 3, 2, 1. Biggie.
Biggie.
Say the word Biggie when I get to the end of it.
Biggie, you've got to say the word so you can sync it up with you.
Yeah. Okay. One more time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Biggie.
Biggie.
Cool.
There's our ending clip.
Biggie.
Bro.
What's going on?